So I'm still getting set up, as you can tell. Give me a second and we'll be able to hang out properly soon enough. So settle in. Hi Nikki, I see you there. Let's just do something for a moment. I want to bear with me. Okay, let's see what happens now. And we're going to keep rolling. Hang in. Now, where the heck was I? Give me a second. I'm still checking in, everybody. Still get everything sorted out here. Hang out amongst yourselves. Hello, Journey Seeker. Greetings, all sun. Hi, Nikki. Hello, Ivona. So I'm just going to finish off the Astrodoodle for everybody so we can, enjoy things. More, richer immersion. Hello, Moon in Cancer 111. This is, hold on, give me a second. Sorry, give me a second. now let's see what we can do here. I'm just getting everything prepped up. We're still sort of setting. I'm almost there. Almost there. Let me just check in with you guys so you know I'm here. Oh, hello. Somebody just... Mr. Maurice Evans-Jones. Hello, greetings, sir. Hello. It says here, hello again for another great reading. I took off work today. I'm tired of working 7 days a week. Oh, my God. 14 hours a day with the USPS. Oh, my God. Oh, dear. Okay. Overwork and underpaid as well as underappreciated. What do you see for me at my current job? Oh, my gosh. Okay. First of all, let me get you your magic post-it note. I'm just going to call you Maurice, okay? Here we go. We'll come back to you in a little while. I'm still setting up the show. But you're on the screen, all right? So let's just double check here. We might be, it looks like everything's showing up that we got a very choppy signal going on from YouTube. It's definitely not from here. So let me just reassure you. My phone is going crazy. I should have switched it off. Hold on. Stay right there, everybody. Don't go away. I'm not quite sure what's happening. Just give me a second here. Where this is my typical setup for a Sunday Night Live. And I'm not sure why I'm getting so many beeps. I have to put the phone into airplane mode in just a second. Okay, so we'll see what that looks like. Okay, nothing to worry about. So I am going to take my smartphone here, okay, and I'm going to put it into airplane mode so that we can actually work together without interruptions. Okay. Now, where were we? So thank you, Maurice. This is, as you know, tonight is the world famous Sunday Night Live Super Chat mini readings. Okay, so if you're new here, if you've never done this before and you would love to have a live in-person mini tarot reading in front of a whole bunch of other people, you can't be shy, then this is the way to do it. Okay, I'm just going to put the date here. If you're not used to doing these things, what there is, like wherever it is, who's ever here, and you want to get involved, you would have to introduce yourself on the screen. Hello, I'm so-and-so. Clickety-click, I want a reading. And then you go to the box underneath. There's a box just underneath where you type. It looks like a gray box, and it has a little kind of dollar sign in it. You touch that one, and it allows you to put money into the tip jar. Okay? So today is 6th of September, 2020. And there's some wacky stuff going on. I might as well just get you guys all clued up so that while we're here, it's fun to do this in advance so people have an idea of kind of where things are, where they're coming from, and where we're going. Give me another second here. I've got to get a few things sorted out. I just want to put some there. This isn't all doom and gloom, okay? We do have a little bit of sweet stuff going on. There's all this Pisces stuff with the Capricorn. That's very soothing and comforting. The Mars in Aries energy has backed off a tiny bit because the moon has moved on and the angles are slightly different. But we're still in a very, very hard, very sensitive, very delicate arrangement here with this T-square between Capricorn and Cancer, hard angle from Mars in Aries, okay? But that Mars in Aries happens to work very well, helping us with the North Node. Mercury has just moved into Libra, okay? And the Sun is still over here in Virgo. Venus is right here on the cusp of Cancer, Leo at 0 degrees. And of course we have the usual suspects up here. Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter in Capricorn. It's been a long story, and the story is by no means over. We're going to live with this for the rest of 2020. Then we're going to have some big changes in 2021. And for the next 4 years, it's going to be tumultuous for the United States. I'm just letting you know in advance. So if it's tumultuous for the United States and in the financial markets, that means it's tumultuous for the rest of the world. Okay? I like, by the way, I'm going to do this that I did the other night. I like to bend things a little bit with the astrology, stretch things out. So, no matter how painful this looks, and it's pretty bad for a lot of people, especially in America, there's still a lot of violence and disruption and chaos, protesting of all kinds. But we do have a kind of magical security blanket that is in the form of the big, very loose grand earth trine between Virgo energy, Capricorn energy, and the Taurus energy over here. It's like a huge security blanket that covers the whole of planet Earth right now. So I like that. Let's not waste it. We cannot take it for granted. It's a way of basically taking a break before things get really ugly. Okay? Some of you are probably aware right now, let's see, Mars is going retrograde. Like, we're basically already on the cusp of Mars retrograde. We're still in a wall of retrogrades. Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, plus all the other stuff. So it's a tremendous energy of hurry up and wait. There's a lot of jiggling going on with the planets. Let me just check in with you, the people, so that we understand. Let's have a look. We all understand it. Oh, wait, some more people showed up. Hello, Love Triber. Hello, Path Traveler. Hi, Nikki. Charlie. Okay, so you guys are hanging out amongst yourself. That's good. Okay. So, some of you know, hold on, let me just check in with you. I'm actually here, a real person. Greetings. Good evening, everyone. This is Terra Illumination. It's Sunday Night Live. I hope you've had an interesting week. It's been very kind of surreal over here. Of course, as you know, I like to blame it on the planets. Because here's a very kind of wonky Terra Illumination style astrodoodle. This is my famous silk scarf. And you can even see it starts over here with Aries. And then there's Taurus, okay? There's Gemini. Look. Cancer, Leo, Libra. Scorpio's kind of messed up. Sagittarius full on. Capricorn's over there. Aquarius got squashed up over here, and Pisces is over here. So anybody can wear it. You can get those things. You can check the links below if anybody wants an amazingly expensive, beautiful satin silk scarf. It's like this big. It's a big square. So there you go. The planets are aligned in such a way that it's causing a lot of what I would say is like these very slow grinding pressure type of twists, okay? It's like, have you ever done that with a wet towel or something? Or like you're really hot and sweaty or something, and you have one towel and it's absolutely drenched in sweat, and so you grab the towel, you turn it into a long sausage, and then you squeeze it out and you squeeze it out and you wring it out. I think that's sort of what the planets are doing right now. Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto for the next few days. Then we have a little bit of relief. Jupiter's going to be going direct, so that'll lighten up the pressure a little bit. But basically there's a big squeeze going on right now. The reality check police, Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter are working their magic on the global financial markets, people's personal lives, all of that stuff. Oh, oh yeah, sorry, yeah, Path Traveler. Guess what? I already made a tiny micro video about this, but I'm really proud of this. Terra Illumination was featured on the front page of a very popular online digital magazine for very wealthy people. The magazine is called the Accredited Investor Journal, and they have 13 million subscribers. And I just discovered it. Apparently, a few months ago, they put me on the front page with one of my videos about global finance and all that stuff. So somebody's listening somewhere. I'm very proud of that. Yeah. Love Triber wants to hear some good news. Oh, yeah, because I focus on those big red lines, which tend to be pretty sucky. The good news is that we're going to go through massive evolutionary leaps for the rest of this year, and especially for the next 4 years if you live in America. Okay? That's good news. Evolutionary leaps means that we're going to evolve from here to here. Okay? So that's a sort of good news. There's a lot of things out there that are kind of bumpy. You know, that's like, I'm not sure if I want to get into it on this show, because this show here tonight is all about Super Chat mini readings, okay? Yes, Nikki, it's true. I don't have the links here. I haven't all prepped it all up. I only found out a couple of hours ago. So I got kind of excited. And yeah, so anyway, that makes me feel like I want to keep going. I don't know exactly if it's going to lead to anything, but it was kind of a thrill to stumble on it. Let's have a look over here. Who else is around? Let's have a look. See, over there. Oh, there's Pat. There's Love Triber. Hello, Maurice. Yep. And wait a minute. There's someone that came in just a little bit ago. Moon in Cancer 111. Oh, it's DQ. Hey, DQ. I have to tell you, everybody, DQ was one of the very, very first people ever to show up on this channel over 3 years ago. She was actually one of the first people to ever get a tarot illumination reading. Yay. Thanks, DQ. How are things going, by the way? Remember we did a reading with your daughter as well. Something happened. I can't remember the nature of the reading, but anyway. Hello, Journey Seeker. Yeah, let's have a look. So, let's see. The show just started, so I'm going to just double check. It's very, very quiet. It seems that probably very few notifications went out. As you know, I've been moaning and groaning about the channel. But anyway, we're still here. Gregory is traveling right now. Some of you know Gregory. He comes to the show quite a lot. Apparently he's traveling right now, but he actually booked a reading in advance. So I'll show you. Gregory's already lined up for a reading. Maurice has got a reading lined up. He's concerned about, so I think it's future. I guess it's like the future of the current job. So Maurice, I've heard that there's a lot of scandalous things happening with the USPS, the United States Post Office. I haven't followed the news too closely, so I don't know what it's about, but I hope it works out for you. Path Traveler did not receive a notification. Yeah, a lot of people do not get notifications for this channel. It makes me very kind of bitter and angry and frustrated. But that's just how things are here. It's a little bit frustrating. Okay, I'm not going to dwell on it too much. Let me go over. I want to check in with you guys personally again over here. Let me see if I can do that. Okay, it looks like the internet stream has settled down a bit and the show is more stable. So that's a good sign. Excuse me. You'll probably notice that I'm not drinking the normal beverages that I normally drink. I'm switching to electrolytes. Watch. Electrolytes. They changed my life. What I discovered is that I'm kind of lightweight. I'm kind of like tall and skinny. And I eat a pretty decent amount of food, but I burn off a lot of calories, especially when I do readings or psychic readings, medium type stuff, or tarot or the astrology. And what I think was happening is I was sort of self-medicating. I was a self-medicator almost all my life in some way, shape, or another, ever since I was a tiny little kid, because I was so, I would say, emotionally unstable, and I didn't know how to control it, so I self-medicated with external, let's say, treatments. And I used to sit very close to my father when I was a little 6-year-old, 7-year-old, and he would sit in his evening chair and watch the evening sports and the weather and the news. He'd have his newspaper, and he'd have a bottle of beer and a few slices of Swiss cheese and his cigarette in an ashtray, all neatly arranged. And what I would do is I would sneak up behind him, and I would sneak little sips of beer and little puffs off his cigarette. And I was just a tiny little kid. And I was addicted. I became addicted. Just how it is. So, and I've been that way my whole life. I've had to fight addictions most of my life, and I've done it. I've actually prevailed. I really don't have a lot of bad habits, quite honestly. But there were periods where I was very, very much a self-medicator. The classic ones, opiates, alcohol, caffeine, nicotine. I didn't really like the popular stimulants like meth or crack or cocaine or speed. I just didn't like the way my body tended to be so hyper anyway. My problem was trying to calm down, trying to slow down rather than speed up. So I tended to go for the things that kind of make you mellow. And I was not really big into weed either. I'm saying all these things openly because I kind of don't care anymore. What have I got to hide? But anyway, I'm one of them. And a couple of weeks ago, I had heat stroke. And it knocked me out for 4 days. It was misery, puking and vomiting and cold sweats and hot flashes and feeling very, very weak and miserable. So I couldn't do the shows. And Love Triber gave me this tip. You need to try electrolytes. And that tip came from one of her doctors. So you know how gossip goes around. It's not gossip, it's tips. So anyway, I've started on these electrolytes. And it's very, very subtle, but I feel healthier. I've always been very conscious, like with sodium-potassium balance. I tend to have a lot of salt. Like people look at me like, you're eating so much salt. And I tell them, I need it. I have to have this stuff. And I have a lot of high-potassium foods. The vegetables, but especially the fruits, bananas, kiwis, pineapple, some of the other ones, but they tend to have a lot of potassium. So that gets you into the potassium-sodium balance to get it just right. And to have it just right, you have to have it just right so that your nervous system works properly. The whole of your nervous system, the way your muscles work, your brain works, your heart works, everything is connected through the nerves. And inside the nervous system, there's a big sort of liquid mess that includes potassium and sodium. And if you don't have the right balance of those chemicals with enough water, things go wonky up here. Follow your joy. Kava has saved me from addiction. It's been amazing. I've had kava. That's like a leafy herbal, and you make it into a tea, and it's perfectly legal. Or you can get it already made up or something. It's very, very soothing. Really soothing. Yeah, maybe I should look into that. Thank you, Follow Your Joy. All right, so anyway, I've hardly touched anything. My whiskey, my red wine, my beer, it's just sitting there. I mean, I love this stuff. I love to drink it. But my body is telling me, stick with the electrolytes. So that's what I'm doing. For example, last night, a lot of us have been going through a lot of stress. I don't know about you, but I'm really feeling the collective stress, the global stresses. Lucky I'm kind of porous, and so it comes into me and goes out of me. I don't carry it. It just kind of moves through, but it does affect you. And so, especially for the last few weeks with all these massive walls of retrogrades and now Mars on the cusp of stationary retrograde, that's going to affect everybody. You might be feeling listless, or like the wind has dropped, or you feel less motivated, or all the things that you think you should do or want to do or have to do, they all kind of get stalled out or something. Because Mars is the planet of action. And so I decided, I'm not going to fight this. I can't fight the planets. They just do what they do. You might as well roll with it. So I let myself feel all these things, all the big shifts and changes, and I'm allowing the shifts to affect me deeply internally. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, all of those planets are retrograde, so that affects you at a very deep soul level, okay? Hello, Ivona, what's that? Try carrot juice. It'll give me a kick. Okay. I've only had carrot juice a couple of times. I never really considered having it. But anyway, so I kind of thought, well, if Mars is going to go retrograde and I'm going to lose a bit of momentum, fine. So I kind of got myself in that frame of mind, and I went to bed at a regular bedtime last night, and I woke up like almost 9 hours later. I didn't have a pee break, no sudden wake-ups from crazy wild dreams. I typically have a lot of vivid dreams. Some of them I remember, some of them I don't. Some people think it's like astral traveling. It's so vivid, it's like actually being an actor in a movie. Anyway, so it was an amazing feeling to have 8.5, almost 9 hours of sleep straight through. It's incredibly healing. I just thought I'd share that with you. So I'm being kind and gentle to my body. I'm listening very, very closely to what my body is telling me. I want to show something, okay? Hold on. Now everybody's talking about kava supplements. Okay, no worries. Okay, just over here. So, everyone's built differently. I am particularly lucky because I feel right now I'm one of the people who's really benefiting from the big Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, massive, big, fat, loose, grand trine right now. It's very, very stabilizing, very, very comforting in the face of these very challenging energies here, especially this one over here. So what it tells me, if you look at it from the spiritual perspective, or I look at it as sacred geometry, what it tells me is that essentially everything is exactly as it should be. Now, as you know, I've been talking about how this is like the tumultuous, cataclysmic collapse of the American financial system, which is going to affect the whole world. And that is still happening, and it's going to be with us for years, okay? And then it's going to get even more radical starting in 2024. So we have a lot of stuff to live through in terms of evolution over the next, I would say, 18 to 20 year period for Pluto. But just at this very moment in time, right now, tonight, we are lucky to have this big fat thing in heaven with the sacred geometry, the Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, massive grand earth trine. It's very comforting, it's very stabilizing, it makes everything kind of go into slow motion. Because this is very like hyperactive energy, super hyper volatile, a lot of aggravation, violence, disruption. And it shows up in the global stock markets, okay? Hello, Star Girl. I see you. Happy weekend. It's a holiday weekend, so I imagine things are going to be very quiet tonight. So let's not worry about it too much. It'll probably be a very short show. It looks like we're just going to have 2 readings. Hey, are there any newbies out there? Complete, utter newbies. Let me just check in. I want to see about that. If by any chance there's any crazy wild newbies out there, you've never done this before, now is your time to jump in. Remember, you are guided, you are protected, especially with a big fat grand earth trine surrounding the whole of planet earth right now. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. So you'll be okay. Abby! Abby's here. Good evening, Abby. Abby, I saw you on the beach. Love Triber, I don't know how you guys do. I don't know how to do all this Facebook stuff, but Love Triber showed me a picture of Abby on the beach. Abby was just running around like she'd just come out of a yoga empowerment session, yoo-hoo-hoo-hoo, running down the beach. Yay. Wow. Thanks for hanging in with us, Abby. Actually, I had a reading the other night with a new client who lives up in the Washington area, right on the ocean, a place called Port Angeles. We had a really great time. I can't say anything more than that, but confidentiality and things. But yeah, I've only been up to that part of the world a couple times, but I really like it because it's so rich and green. The thing is, you don't get a lot of sun in winter. In fact, almost nothing. I struggle with that. Okay. Okay. Stargle. What's that? Fresh celery juice? I never heard of it. Hold on. What's this? Gavona. I tried it instead of coffee in the morning for a while. It was so much better than coffee. You're talking about kava? It just has to be fresh made organic carrots, homemade at best. Oh, you're talking about carrot juice. Having carrot juice instead of coffee. Okay, yeah. And so that's Ivona. She's into the carrot juice. Stargirl is into celery juice. I've never had celery juice. Tina. Tina's here. Hello, Tina. Thank you. Thank you. So I'll put a big fat yellow post-it note with your name on it. So you must be sort of starting to settle. You're in Texas now, Tina. I know you've been through a lot recently, and you're probably still going through a lot. But this is something that you kind of wished for. You made it happen. You kind of did all your homework and you prepped up for it, and now it's happening. So you're kind of a hero in a way, by the Terralumination measure of things. Okay, let me go over here. Give me a second. Alrighty, so Tina's going for it. Here we go. I hope the dogs and all your extended family are doing okay. Actually, I'm going to put a note over there. So that's Gregory, Maurice, Tina. Thank you very much. So Abby's telling us it is about 87 there right now. Oh my gosh, that sounds beautiful. It sounds just gorgeous. Right now it's about 112 over here. It's scary hot. Scary, scary hot. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how you do it, Tina. Some of the stories that you've shared with us are just like nerve-wracking. They're life-shaking, But you seem to be handling it extremely well. So congratulations. Let's have a look here. Now, okay, I was just saying that if there's anyone out there brand new, you've never done this before, please feel safe to do it. This is a perfectly okay place to do it. We have a bunch of regular people who like to come here frequently, but sometimes every now and again a newbie shows up, and this is what the show is actually about tonight. It is the world famous Sunday Night Live Super Chat mini readings. It's from Terralumination, and it is the 6th of September 2020. So that's the show, and we've pretty much done the introductions, and I think we're ready to go. I think it's just going to be a very short, quiet show tonight, and that's just how it is. It's okay. We all have stuff to do. Maybe you guys can go have a barbecue or something. I'm not sure. Let's see. Now, okay, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, for newbies, if you've never ever had a tarot reading before, but you're intrigued, and you're sort of like thinking, well, these people are weird, but there's something to this stuff. What you do is you type it on the screen, you introduce yourself, tell us who you are, where you are. I'm very curious. I love to know where people come from. This Sunday night Super Chat mini readings, mostly with the timing, the way we do it. I started at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Terralumination is broadcasting from sunny Las Vegas right now, but we have people from all over the United States. For example, I already know Abby's up here somewhere. Pilicoa is up here somewhere. And Stargirl is over here somewhere. Aha! Aha! We have a newbie. You see, I told you. You don't have to be shy. Laura Thomas is here from Kentucky. Laura Thomas is over here from Kentucky. Well, guess what, Laura? You have another ally. Path Traveler is right here. Okay? Path Traveler is over there in Kentucky. Love Triber is over here. Okay? And let's see, Gregory is over here. He has a couple of places, one over here and one over here. But Gregory's not here tonight. He's actually traveling, but he's here with us in spirit. Nikki is up here. I love the geography. I can't help it. Nikki is up here. I think I saw Michael. Is Allsun here? I think I saw his name way early. Yes, he is. Okay, so Allsun is up here too. Journey Seeker. Aha! Journey Seeker, where are you? Mr. Evans Jones, where are you? I'm kind of curious. Very curious. Very, very curious. Journey Seeker. Let's see. Ivona is up here too. And Moon in Cancer. Oh, DQ, you're still in Texas, I think, right? Over there, right? That's Moon in Cancer, DQ. Who have I missed? Nikki, Charlie's Angel Path. All right. I'm just checking on the chat here. Give me a second. Follow Your Joy. Follow Your Joy. I can't remember where you're from. Hold on. I've got to go to the end of the chats. Give me a second. Okay. So, what was that one? Did I get everybody? Tina is over here. Just here. Path is over here. Let me just see who else. I don't think we've got anyone from Europe or Southeast Asia. Maurice is up here in Massachusetts. So it's already 8:45. So it's nighttime for you. Let's have a look. And Laura's from Kentucky. We did Laura. Okay, let me just check. I got Abby. I got a Star Girl. Oh yeah, we did Star Girl over there, right? Star Girl's over there. Cool. I think we got everybody. So what I was trying to say is, if you're kind of like just sitting there, watching Terra Illumination on your big screen TV with popcorn and snacks and beer, and you got your feet up and you're thinking, you know what? The weird thing about YouTube is that you can actually interact with the show. I know it's freakish, but it's true. It's probably, I think, one of the very few places you can actually do this, unless you have one of the Terra Illumination private Zoom meetings, Let's have a look. So, give me a second. Now, where did I go to? Okay, here we are. So, I invited any newbies to just show up, introduce yourselves, let us know who you are, where you are. We have Laura Thomas from Kentucky. Thank you very much for being here. So Laura, if you're feeling up for it, if you're really, really, really courageous, you just put some money in the SuperChat slot, and it basically goes through the system, and then you get your own magic private post-it note. I know. Calm down. Calm down. You don't have to do it. It might have been a big leap for you just to introduce yourself on the screen, but that's okay. We all had to start somewhere. All right, excuse me. So, anyway, if there's any others out there, Laura was courageous enough. So if there's anyone else, feel free to type in, introduce yourself. What was I going to say? I was given a fairly strong nudge that Terra Illumination might have to start another channel. And I'm actually allowed to use my own name again if I want to. I can use Terra Illumination 2, or Terra Illumination with Astrodoodles or something, or maybe just Terra Illumination. And there's a reason I'm considering doing it. It's because this particular channel has some impediments. Okay? And so I'm actually thinking of starting from scratch. It's much, much harder to start a YouTube channel today than it was. There are legacy channels out there, which I wish I could have become one of those legacy channels. I had the chance, but there was a lot of demolition across the way, so it never quite happened. So I'm thinking of starting again, and maybe if I did that, I would invite every subscriber, anyone who watches Terra Illumination from here, go to the next one, and then I would have to spend the next year inviting people over, because you're not allowed to transfer subscribers from one channel to another, even if you're the owner. It's illegal in YouTube. So there you go. Oh, look. Look at that. Talk about pay it forward. Laura Thomas. I guess there's the Kentucky Bond. It's like that sort of, you know, what do they call it? Southern charm. If you think of Kentucky as part of like the South, maybe not the deep South, but it's the borderline. It's right on the borderline. So there you go. All right, so Laura, you get your own Post-it note. Ha! Here we go. Let's have a look. So this is it. Wow. I always get excited when we have a newbie and they get a reading. Yep. Laura Thomas. Here you go. This is your Post-it note. Thank you, Pat. Very kind. Very, very kind. Tina Miller, well, what do you think about YouTube not sending out email notifications anymore? Well, yeah, it sucks. It really, really, really sucks. It's extremely hard to run a YouTube channel without notifications going out to the subscribers. Okay, I don't want to get too sucked into my moaning and groaning about the impediments on this channel. But basically, at the peak, where I was at around the middle of 2019, early 2019, I had this many subscribers, and it's more than enough to bring in a few dollars in terms of advertising and things. And that was very, very important for me. And I was hoping to go to the next level where you add another 0 onto the end of your subscriber numbers, so then you could actually earn a living. Okay, it is possible. Some people make very good money through their YouTube channels, but you have to have certain conditions all just perfect. You have to have a lot of subscribers. You have to have a lot of views, a lot of likes and subscribes, and a lot of notifications that get sent out by YouTube to the subscribers. And so if you have, for example, this many subscribers, typically YouTube would send out about that many, whatever it is, 20, 30%, 40% notifications, okay, to all your subscribers. So a lot of subscribers don't get anything. But I'm kind of on an algorithm where I'm lucky to get 5%, maybe 8% notifications sent out. So it's very, very hard to grow a channel, and that's just the way my channel has been categorized in YouTube. So a lot of people, I still have a lot of subscribers, but almost nobody gets notifications anymore. So people don't know I'm here. It's very frustrating. I get very angry at times. Okay. It's not ideal. I mean, I went back and forth. YouTube used to invite me to their headquarters down in Los Angeles. I've been there multiple times, and then they kind of changed their mind about the channel, and all of a sudden the channel kind of went, and it's like trying to run a channel on a choke chain. You can't do anything. Anyway, enough moaning and groaning, okay? Okay, what's this? Now, what's that? Yep, Jim makes $1,500 a month, and it covers his expenses to feed the raccoons. Jim? Jim? Oh, you probably have, it's probably a friend of yours who has a channel. Okay. Yeah. It's extremely hard to do this without notifications going out. So I just get by with what I can. So I'm thinking of starting maybe with a clean channel where there's no impediments and I'm on a very healthy algorithm, and I just have to get all the subscribers to come over. We'll see anyway, okay? All right, so Laura, I hope you're patient. We're going to get started. All right, so tonight it's just going to be a small show, but you're still going to get your money's worth, all right? So we've got Gregory, Maurice, Tina, and Laura. That's all we've got tonight. Okay. Fine. So let's get over here. Excuse me. I gotta make some room. Let's do a bit of that. I'm going to bring out, as you know, I just used the regular old Rider-Waite. It's, it's kind of by far the most popular deck, but there are so many wonderful decks out there now, and I kind of gave up on all that. I was kind of absolutely addicted and fascinated to new decks for a while, and then I came full circle. It sounds like, maybe I'm a bit of a stick in the mud, but I like what works, and I don't want to mess with things that work, okay? I like exploring new things. I have quite an adventurous side to my nature, but I really like things that work. And when we're doing this stuff, this is serious. You're giving Tarot Illumination good money, and I like to make it sure that it works for you, okay? Okay. So first up, we have Gregory. Actually, what I'm going to do is put this over here, so we have a clean stage, and we're going to just jump right in. Okay. And Maurice over at USPS, Tina over there in Texas, and Laura over there in Kentucky. Massachusetts, Texas, Kentucky, Mississippi, Missouri, or Mississippi, and New Mexico. There we go. Star Gold. This is actually the Universal Golden Tarot. You'll see. It's a very popular deck. I love it. But the manufacturer makes the cards are very, very skinny. It's a very fragile deck. You have to be very careful with it because the cards are very skinny. Frittily Landed, Jim Blackwood, the Raccoon Whisperer. Oh my God! Seriously? Okay, sorry, Gregory, give me a second here. I got to check in with Frittily. Some of you know Frittily very well. She visits here frequently, and she is a little bit of a Raccoon Whisperer herself. She has a bunch of furry friends, so I guess that's how she knows about this fellow Jim Blackwood, the Raccoon Whisperer, who's making $1,500 a month on his channel. That's amazing. Go Jim. Wow. I feel motivated now. I really think I'm going to do it. Now, I know, I have to be careful. Actually, Stargirl, I believe it was you who gave me the motivation or gave me the nudge. You have to start a new channel. Wasn't that you, Stargirl? Okay. Oh, he has 86,000 subscribers. Okay. Well, that's about 10,000 more than what I have. Yeah, you can actually make money out of the YouTube channel if you get up to like the 100,000 subscriber mark. It's really possible. Sadly, I'm not quite there. I coulda, woulda, shoulda. Anyway, we'll figure it out. All right, Gregory, let's have a look. So, Gregory is concerned about a couple items. Gregory often gives me permission to either go blind or focus on a theme. The theme Gregory has right now is there's a deep concern about some business matters he has to take care of with a co-executor regarding some legal things, probably to do with money and property and real estate. And it involves his brother and a bunch of attorneys. So that's pretty sticky stuff. So I do readings for people, including legal, financial, health, all those kinds of things. It's just a bunch of tarot cards, and I sometimes refer to the astrology. But really, we tackle just about any subject. So I don't have a problem reading for this particular subject. Sometimes I know we almost always do everything blind, Gregory, but for tonight, since we made it kind of precise, I don't mind having a go at this one. If a different story comes up and it bears no relation to this, we will know that anyway, so don't worry. Either way, you'll get your reading. Okay. Well, thank you, Stargirl. All right, so actually at this moment in time, I'm going to have to switch into tarot reader modality. So if I sound like I'm going off in a trance, I probably am. Doesn't mean I'm not here, but the way things work, it's kind of like what happens on those old, TV psychic shows, and James Von Prague would come on, or John, what's his name, would come on, or Sylvia Brown would come on, or something. So anyway, this is just what happens when you get tarot readings. So Laura, just hang in with us and see what happens, okay? I use a very, very limited number of spreads. I do a lot more in personal readings, and when I used to do all the videos for, all the sun signs and moon signs and rising signs and everything, I would do 40, 50 videos a week. But it didn't make any sense anymore because of the way the channel is heavily, let's say, shackled by the YouTube algorithm at the moment. So I can't do anything, so there's no point because I have a life to live just like you guys. So what we're doing right now, pretty much all that anybody ever sees at Tarot Illumination is the Sunday Night Live shows where I use this very, very compact yet powerful spread. It is my situation spread, okay? And you'll see what I mean in a minute, okay, Laura? I'm actually reading for Gregory. It's not for you, Laura, but I wanted Laura to pay attention because then you can see how the show works. All right, let's bless this whole deck. Bless every single card. Bless the electricity, the lights, the cameras, and microphones, and all the softwares, the multiple softwares, the gadgets, the computers, the internet, the platform, everything. Let's bless all that stuff that gives this a chance to happen at all. It's a freaking miracle we can do these things at all. It's a very unique and wonderful thing we have here. Okay, Gregory. Whenever you see this, tomorrow or the day after, this is your reading. Here is the situation. Here is the challenge. Here's how we're going to handle it. I'm going to look at the weather at the moment, and then when I do that, I'm going to be referring mostly to what I consider the generic collective astrological weather that's out there and affects everybody. It's a question of how do you deal with it. And it goes through a filter, and it comes out looking like this. Okay, we have the Knight of Cups here. So I'm going to focus on the subject matters that you were bringing forward here. And the way I'm feeling... hello, Robin. Okay, sorry, I got distracted over there. Hello, Robin. Gregory. So we've got the Knight of Cups here. My feeling is that this Knight of Cups energy is very much associated with this big, fat Earth trine in the heavens right now. Okay? This is a very protective, very insulating type of energy which is out there and available to all of us and everybody on planet Earth if you so choose. If your biological sensory system is aware of it and you can sense this profound deep sense of security and calm at the center of an extremely violent storm, okay? That's a good thing. I think that's what's happening for you, Gregory, is that you, whether you like it or know it or not, you are very much protected. So it almost doesn't matter what kind of decisions you make about how, the details of how you do this, whether you're going to go ahead and work with the co-executor brother and how the things play out with the attorneys. You can pretty much make any decisions that you want by deeply trusting in this energy here right now for this reading. Now, this energy is not going to last because after a while the Virgo energy is going to move on into Libra and this big green sacred triangle will fade away. But for the moment, for the purposes of this reading itself, the Knight of Cups here, my feeling is saying, Gregory, you're in a very strong position right now. You need to be aware of it. You need to capitalize on it. You need to move forward by playing to your strengths right now, taking full advantage of the massive disruptions and dislocations that are happening on planet Earth and with a lot of people right now. A lot of it to do with that big red triangle I showed you. And take advantage of the big grand Earth trine. Even though it might disappear in the near future, the energy is here like kind of an imprint. To me, this feels like an imprint at this moment in time. It's saying, going forward from here, going forward, you're coming with a very loving intention, intending to do right by doing what has to be done in a very loving way. Now, if it is familial stuff that you're dealing with here, sometimes dealing with family matters, legal stuff can be very, very stressful for a lot of people. And a lot of people, sometimes it's so stressful, people just ignore it or they walk away and it just makes it worse. You get into these things called probate, where the warring parties of the different family factions can't figure out what needs to be figured out in a healthy, responsible, loving, caring way that you can do, Gregory, because you're naturally, by nature, through self-determination, a very loving, caring person. You come in with strong, deep, powerful, rich heart energy. So this is an indication that you're already well positioned, and just to keep moving forward in that direction, coming from the heart center. And bringing a bit of, let's just say, sprinkling love all over the situation, especially if it's a very challenging, stressful situation, such that I'm not saying it's going to be easy for you. It is going to require strength and courage and motivation and determination to go forward, but you do have the capacity to do that. And I would say at this very moment, I would say the sacred geometry has your back. It's a good setup. Conditions are good for you to move forward in, I would say, the direction that is possibly already in movement here. Like if you're working with a brother as a co-executor and you're heading towards having to work with some attorneys. It looks like it's perfectly okay to do that, but it is going to require the determination, the strength, the courage, and to come from a very loving heart center, which is very unusual in these kind of situations. Usually it's all about aggravation, money, stress, a lot of things that people don't know or understand about the law, and the slow process and the fear of getting screwed over or someone screwing you over or whatever it is. Now, what's the situation? Okay, so with the what do they call this? The Pope card sometimes? To me, it feels it's like laying down the law. To me, it feels like having to create order out of chaos. Bring divine order into a situation as often happens with big family matters, when there's wills and trusts, and when somebody has to be a co-executor on a big family matter legal thing. I think they call it the Hierophant. I'm having a brain freeze at the moment. But anyway, what I'm sensing here is that order needs to be attained, order needs to be created, needs to be brought to what would otherwise be very chaotic, messy, fruitless, wasted, clumsy, disorderly situation. And it just takes someone with the strength and the ability, the wisdom and the courage and the deep heart-centered energy that's required to do this. It's actually really, really hard to be an executor. Okay? That's the person who actually has to do what is right, do things according to the law. And when there is something, when you're an executor, you're dealing with something typically like an estate, a family estate, or an inheritance, or something like that. And those things are usually created with a good intention. So let me just check in with the people, okay, over here in a second. So, like a lot of people suffer because when, let's say I'm a very old man and I'm worth millions and I die, and I didn't leave a will or an advance directive to let people know what to do with my assets. And then it turns to chaos because people have to wonder, well, how are we going to get into the money? How are we going to close the bank account? Who's going to get all these millions? How are we going to share it all out? Should we give it to, how is it all going to happen? And it gets chaotic very, very quickly. So that's the reason why people create trusts and estates, so that after someone passes away, there is an orderly process for the dispersion of an inheritance. Like the more money, the more chaotic and crazy it can be. So a lot of poor people don't think about these things. A lot of poor people just basically, they croak, they fall over, and that's it. They never had much to begin with. A lot of people die in debt, heavily in debt, and that creates chaos everywhere. But anyway, that's another story. Let me get on with yours, Gregory. So, to me it feels like if you choose to accept this mission, it's your choice. It is going to require courage. You do have the ability to do this. It means having to come from... you cannot afford to come in with any kind of mentally charged expectations or approaches to dealing with things. Everything has to come from heart center energy. So it might be an odd way for other people to perceive how you are conducting business in this situation with these people. But for the best outcome for you and everybody, it's very important that someone actually does this. Someone has to play the role of leadership, where divine order, sacred order is created that is irrefutable, and it is according to the law. And then everybody accepts it, and there is no brawling. And for that to happen, you would have to be able to conduct yourself in a very, very pure manner, irrefutable. It's hard to do, but you can do it. There's no question about it, you can do it. And you will have to basically take charge of the whole situation, where attorneys can't mess with you, other family can't mess with you. You are the arbiter. You are the one who creates and stipulates what has to happen, how and why and when and where, according to an orderly distribution of whatever's going on here. Let's have a look. What's the challenges? Okay, it's scary. Okay, with the moon card here, to me it feels like you're opening a huge can of worms, and you would be really scared to dive into a huge can of worms, because who actually would want that? Anybody who has to take on the role of being executor of a trust or some kind of family situation like this to create order, you know you're walking into a can of worms, because everyone who is not you is going to have all sorts of expectations of what has to come out of this. Like, what is fair? Like, oh, I'm this person, I deserve all of that. Oh, well, I'm that person, I deserve all of that. Well, wait, what about me? And what about a second cousin over here, and the cousin's friend's dogs, nieces, nephew, all of that stuff. Well, what about me? What about me? And who honestly wants to deal with that unless you're a paid attorney, and that's your job, is to deal with the chaos. But you're the one who has to be an executor if you're going to do this. And so if you have a natural fear of having to go deep into something that you already know in advance is going to be spiritually, emotionally, physically, psychologically demanding, it's perfectly understandable. Also, there's a deep fear, my sense here, is that you may feel as though you're not getting your divine guidance, your divine protection that you really feel that you deserve to be able to operate at your best abilities. So it's understandable. I think especially when it's family matters and you're actually having to go, head to head in a family situation. I know, Gregory, just so that you know, I was excluded from all family matters when my parents passed away. It's because some of my family members, I don't think that they trust me very much. They think I'm kind of a crazy lunatic, kind of artsy-fartsy writer, musician type, who has no comprehension of the physical material world with money and things like that. So, and I understand them. I've never been fully motivated by money. I do get by. I still have a place to sleep and I have food. And I'd like to have money like anyone else, but I'm not that person. So for you, Gregory, I would understand it if you might feel fearful or very fearful of actually doing any of this at all. Gosh, how are we going to deal with that? Because these are highly contradictory energies. This energy here is highly contradictory to what's the story up to here. So, for example, it might be so much easier for you to walk away and just say, you know what, you guys, you can have it all. You do whatever you want. I can't handle you people. I can't stand to be with you. I don't want to even go to war. I don't want to do this. I don't even want what's mine because it's so stressful having to deal with all of you guys and things. So I would understand that. How are we going to deal with this dichotomy? Well, okay, with the Four of Pentacles, someone's got to do it. Ignore his grumpy face, okay? The Four of Pentacles I see is very much a power card, a card of consolidation, a card of creating foundation and structure. And I think this works very well with the Hierophant over here, where someone's got to do it. And even if you're coming in with a slight tone of reluctance, it kind of doesn't matter, because I think everybody at the end of the day is going to be glad if you make a decision to take this upon yourself and to not to be the co-executor, but perhaps be the lead executor. Someone has to be the leader here. Someone has to be the final decider, decision maker, and to stand up for honesty and justice and law. And it looks like it has to be you, and it has to be done properly to the highest levels of integrity. And so the way to do that is to take matters firmly in hand in a very material, measurable way and lay out the foundations and the groundwork for this to work. This is the energy of building skyscrapers, building castles, building businesses, consolidating resources into their most sturdy and reliable long-term potential. It's like laying the foundation pillars for a big building. It's like getting all the land prepared for the laying of the foundation of a new structure to be built upon it. Someone has to do it. Some people see this as the energy of a hoarder. In a different reading it might be. But in this case, it feels to me this is very much to do with power and structure, about getting things in order, creating financial stability, creating an infrastructure. In other words, laying it all down. For example, Gregory, I don't know how you conduct your meetings and things. You know how I like to make astrodoodles? Like in your situation, it might be fun to lay everything out in a kind of a flow chart, I don't know. I'm just going to go do something crazy here, Gregory, because this is what I'm sensing for you. It's like, instead of just talking about things or having things on written documents, sometimes people understand things better with a very simple, diagrammatic visual display on a flow chart. For example, if there's a trust over here and there's a pile of money in a big bag, okay? Or something, whatever it is. And then there's a Gregory over here, there's someone over here, the brother, there's someone over here, someone over here, someone over here, who all has interests. And then there's all these attorneys over here, and they're all going to be squabbling about how things have to be done. So my feeling is that it's an idea to give everybody a kind of an illustration of what's happening here and maybe do a diagram. Well, so-and-so is connected directly, so-and-so only has a secondary connection, so this one is fully connected. You could be fully connected. Maybe they only have a half a connection, and so they have to be factored in some way. How do you do that? And then the attorneys are going to be involved, and they might be, we don't know what's going to happen there, because there's a common scenario that happens in these kind of estate things. I think it's where it's called probate, where if these people can't figure out what has to be done, then the attorneys take it into probate, and it gets very ugly and it goes into courts. So if you can avoid that at all costs, please do so. So my feeling is that if you, Gregory, come in with a real strong take charge attitude and be very strong about it, literally putting other people in their place if you have to, but making sure you do it in such a way that you're not personally trying to berate this person, undermine this person, or devalue their claim. Somebody has to do it in a very gracious, loving way so that they understand in a very clear way, like, oh, like if this person is very, very grumpy because this person gets more than this person, and they think they deserve all of this, they want this, then these people might be much easier to deal with if they know that you're coming from a very loving perspective and you're not intending to squeeze somebody out or trying to cut them off. It's just that the people who might feel disenfranchised, they need to be made aware that there's a reason they feel disenfranchised. It might be because they legally do not have such claim to things as the primary claimants, and so on and so on. Some people don't understand it. Sometimes just having a doodle or a little thing like this really can help. So I'm not saying to do that, but sometimes it really helps. And you can, even make multiple copies and have a little presentation, like a PowerPoint presentation, to do all this. So I think it can be done. And of course, in the end, a lot of it is just how do we divide up the assets and the money in a way that's fair and proper, that everybody can walk away. No one's going to be 100% happy, but you have to create a structure where everybody at least gets a fair shot at things. That's what I sense here. So that this is a real power card. Someone's got to do it. Okay? So that's your reading, Gregory. I hope that helps you. I'm actually kind of glad that we went with the theme of this, because a lot of times we don't go with the themes. I know you like to let me go completely blind, but this is fun. I'm really glad that we did it this way. Thank you, Gregory. I hope it helps you. All right, Maurice, you are up. So Maurice is up there in Massachusetts. Let's have a look. Tina's going to go over here. And then Laura is going to go over here. All right, let's have a look. See what's happening with Maurice. Now, Maurice is very concerned. If you all scroll back in your chat, scroll back, you'll see that Maurice is very concerned about the future regarding job and stuff, because of being with USPS for a long time, wondering what's up ahead. Let me just go back to the notes. What did it say? It says, okay, I'm going to read from your notes. Okay, Maurice, it says, to TL, hello again for another great reading. I took off work today. I'm tired of working 7 days a week, 14-hour days with USPS. Overwork and underpaid, as well as underappreciated. What do you see for me at my current job? Okay, that's quite specific, okay? What do we see for you at your current job? Okay. So let's have a look. We're going to just shuffle it up, then we're going to dive right in for you, Maurice. So everyone else, of course, as usual, chat amongst yourselves, help yourself. Hello, Sarah. Sarah Lake Mitchell. I see you there. Greetings. Sometimes I don't see the chat much when I'm doing the reading itself. I just kind of get absorbed in the reading. And there's Queen of Water. Okay, Queen of Water. Let's have a look. Queen of Water. Hold on, Maurice. Just stay right there. Queen of Water, I believe you are over here. Is that right? Like in the Melbourne area of Australia. Is that right? So it would be, let's see, early afternoon for you? Something like that? Yeah. So I don't know, dear Queen of Water. Over here in the United States, we've been getting some really scary stories of what's happening with the people in your neighborhood regarding the police who are behaving like communist thugs, bashing people's doors down for not wearing a mask, breaking into their house, and basically acting like a bunch of Nazis, you know? It's insanity. I didn't know that Australia was so heavily contaminated by a hardcore, radical, uh, you know, communist type of cop behavior. That's not right. You're a free country. You have freedom. I don't know what the Australian Constitution is. I don't even know if you have one. We have a very powerful constitution in America, even though it's been heavily corrupted, undermined, perverted, and it wants to be destroyed by a lot of communists inside America. But we still have it. I don't know what it's like for you, but the videos that I was shown really scared me. Thank you for coming to hang out with us, Queen of Water. People have had enough in Australia, but nobody's standing up. Okay, so sometimes what happens with the energy of revolution, people are so scared to stand up to the oppressors that they don't. And what happens then, the oppressors take over. And typically, the people who are oppressed, they're not allowed freedom of speech. They're not allowed to bear arms. They're not allowed to hold their leaders accountable, because then the leaders retaliate with thuggery and violence and legal matters that they are self-justifying. So it's just like living in under the communist China party, you know. So I'm sorry for you, Queen of Water. It's really bad news. You guys have to do something. You, the people of Australia, you guys need to stand up. You guys need to stand up. You're probably going to create some kind of marches or protests above and beyond what you're doing already. It's very, very dangerous. In America, people rise up and they protest, and a lot of times we have armed uprisings. It doesn't mean people are going to shoot necessarily, but we do have the right to bear arms over here, so things get pretty ugly. Things are allowed. We have a constitution here that allows people freedom of speech. And if people get angry enough over here in America, they take up arms. Hello, Angel Wings. Angel Wings, have you been here before? Please tell us. It sounds like you've been here before, but honestly, I can't recall. I think you've been here before. All right, Maurice, so we're going to have some questions regarding current job. Okay? Current job, USPS. It sounds like you're really pissed off. Yeah, Fritterly, we haven't had the freedom of speech protests yet. We're just getting a lot of extreme, I would say, rioting and violence and sort of maniacal, out-of-control behavior. Things have not got ugly enough yet in the United States for armed revolution. Australia doesn't have guns, so you're not allowed to have guns in Australia? Wow. I think if you're a farmer, you're probably allowed to have guns, I would imagine, wouldn't you? Lots of protests in Kentucky. Interesting. Okay. All right, Maurice, let's do this. Okay, let's see. Thank you, Maurice. I want to say thank you for coming here and sharing this with us. It takes a bit of courage to, get a live reading in front of other people, because sometimes we touch on very delicate personal things. All right, let's have a look. Okay, so what kind of message do we have tonight from Maurice regarding his current situation over at USPS? Obviously, from the notes, Maurice is really pissed off. I'm just going to add a little bit of a disclaimer here. Remember, Maurice, this is a tarot channel. It's for entertainment purposes only, legally speaking, but I would like to extend trust a little bit farther than that this is personal and it's genuine. We can't make decisions for you. You're the person who has to live your life. But when you get a reading like this, I can't remember if you had one last time. But anyway, when you get a reading like this, what we're trying to do is help you to make your own decisions. So let's see what this looks like. Cards are just well shuffled. Let's break it up. Let's cut it up again. And let's hand this over to the guides, our invisible friends. So Maurice, if you're not used to this, please just sort of take it for granted that you do have guardian angels. You do have invisible friends. You are guided and you are protected. The more you are aware of it and the more you deliberately tune into that, and rather than having to carry on all your loads, all your problems yourselves, you can outsource some of this to your guides, okay? There's no shame in doing that. I do it a lot myself. It's kind of it is my default setting. I have a very rich relationship with my invisible friends. I still struggle with life in many ways, but I still have a rich relationship with my visible friends, and it helps me to get through the tricky things. So you have that as well, whether you like it or know it or not. So if you're not too aware of it, if you don't feel as though you have a really vivid, rich connection with your invisible friends, then just take it for granted. A lot of people here at the channel have that, and in their own way. Just know that they're there, but it works by invitation. So it's kind of weird for people who don't believe in heaven or angels or prayer or things like that. But if you actually use a spoken voice, preferably in a quiet place, in private, where you literally talk to God or talk to your guides, talk to your invisible friends, and let your heart out. And you can literally reach out and ask for help. And the help will come in a way like, basically, please help me in a way that helps me. And don't set out any expectation about what that looks like or when it happens, but just allow it to happen and let the beautiful process unfold. What's the situation like? What are the challenges there? How are we going to handle it? And let's look at the supporting weather for you. Again, I'm going to refer to this right now, tonight. This is the energy that's surrounding planet Earth. And we're going to make the best of it, okay? Okay, so I'm going to refer that to this, okay? You've got the Four of Cups. So obviously, there's an energy of regret going on here. There's probably, so how can I say this? If you don't feel this is working for you, let's say, for example, you have a lot of Sagittarius and Gemini, or Libra and Aries in your chart, or perhaps Leo and Scorpio in your chart. Those energies, if they're very dominant with you, might be challenged by this big, fat, juicy Earth triangle. This is still very supportive. All I'm suggesting that is in classical Western astrology, these signs like Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus would have some challenging aspects to some of the other signs. For example, Taurus to Scorpio, or Taurus to Aquarius, Taurus to Leo, and so on and so on. So you might not be ready or willing or able to appreciate the benefits of this right now. But if you're here on this show tonight, it tells everybody and you that at least you're doing something about it deliberately. You're investing in your future by asking these questions. So when I see the Four of Cups here, what I'm sensing is that the surrounding conditions, the sacred geometry, is impacting you in such a way that you feel it as a bit of a woe is me thing, where you might be looking at yourself in the mirror. Oh, hold on, I'm going to do this. This has to be a bit of theater here. Hold on. It's like pretend I'm Maurice right now, okay? Pretend I'm you. And you're at this point in life. So there's the good thing. You've got a job. Okay? A lot of people, 40 million people suddenly lost their job in the last, 5 months. That's pretty scary, but you have a job, and the United States Postal Service is kind of renowned for being stable, and they are also renowned for what's it called, going postal. Postal workers perhaps do get underappreciated and get frustrated and underpaid. And so you would have a reason to feel underappreciated. And that feeling might translate inside of you as though it's personal. In other words, wow, man, I really screwed up. I took the wrong job at the wrong time, at the wrong place for the wrong reasons. What was I thinking? And then when you have a steady job and it brings in money and the work never, ever, ever stops, but you keep going anyway, it's understandable that you might get pissed off after a while because, the body just wears out. I think there's a community in Florida, a retirement community that's totally dedicated to retired postal workers because of the damage it can do to their spine, feet, legs, and so on. Sciatica, just wear and tear on the physical body. I remember talking with one postal worker once, and if you think about the hours they work and the amount of walking that she did, let's just say an 8-hour day, and in the truck, out of the truck, in the truck, out of the truck, and let's say walk an average of 3 miles an hour, and basically on your feet, every single step adds up to a distance. So if you are walking 2.5, let's say just 3 miles an hour for 8 hours, that's 24 miles. Okay? Let's just be very, very conservative. Call it 20 miles or 18 miles a day or something. Every day you're on your feet for the equivalent of walking 18 miles. You would have a reason to get pissed off. I understand that. Anyway, so with the Four of Cups, to me it feels like there's a bit of a regret. Like, why didn't I end up as like a genius tech code writer and make a lot of money and just sit in front of a computer and have long coffee breaks and just be like a internet hero or something? Why didn't I do that? Why didn't I get some amazing degree where I can make a lot of money through being like a professor or something? So that's kind of what I'm sensing here. The conditions around you are mostly conducive towards regret. And the problem with the Four of Cups, it's a very specific problem, is that this is also a second, like it's a hidden message with this card, is please remember, Maurice, energy flows where attention goes. And if you are consumed with everything and anything that's not working for you right now, like falling out of love with your job, falling out of love with yourself, falling out of love with life and hope and humanity, and you keep focusing on that energy, guess what happens? Okay, you keep feeding that energy, guess what comes back to you? You're adding fertilizer to the negatives. So, if you listen to this concept, energy flows where attention goes. Okay, so in other words, if you make a deliberate, forceful attempt to change your attention to the direction of this other energy over here, which is very pure, I think of it as like a miniature, tiny Ace of Cups. And it's just sitting there waiting for you, but it can't do anything. It's almost like a guardian angel. It can't do anything for you unless you invoke that energy or you focus your attention over there. It's right here, like, come on, I'm right here. But if it's out of your vision or perspective or your ability to perceive, because you're so focused on this, you can never access this card of sacred opportunity over here. So without judging you, Maurice, it's like, please be aware, you might be triggering your own demise to some extent without even knowing it. Okay? And it's a very, very easy thing to do. Believe me. I know. What's the situation? Okay, so we've got the Empress card here. My card, again, I feel this very much ties with the energy of regret, coulda, woulda, shoulda. And to me it feels like there's a part of you, like, damn well that if you could deliberately choose to focus your attention on the Ace of Cups, you would see yourself in your life, in your world, in a completely different way. You would start to realize, you know what, I am freaking awesome. I am wonderful. I am talented. I am gifted. I have pretty much everything I need. This is a card of great abundance. And to me it feels like there's an internal struggle going on with you, Maurice, where there's this energy of abundance, but it doesn't seem available or accessible because of this overwhelming feeling of regret about the shadow sides of your job, which is basically depleting you. So with the Empress energy here, my feeling is that there's a sort of multi-layered message. Number one, you have to remember how awesome you are. You have to remember how fortunate you are, how gifted you are to have what you already have. Okay, because there's millions of people, in fact, probably 2 billion people on planet Earth who live on less than $150 a week. There are people in really dire situations who don't make much more than $2 a day as a working adult. So there's that side to consider. This is a card of rich, rich abundance. But to me it feels like there's regret associated with this, because it's just almost like, hey, wait a minute, like, I am Maurice, and how did I ever get to a point where I lost track of my own delicious, wonderful self, my own awesomeness? What is it? It's almost like you need to see this. You almost need to look in the mirror. This is a very feminine card, but don't worry about that. Think of it more in terms of money, comfort, beauty, health, abundance, richness, lusciousness. So that would be the energy that you need to tune into. And I watched a show the other night with Love Triber about how, like, the laws of attraction work in terms of abundance, where this fellow went out into a desert to kind of do a rain dance. And Greg Braden was out there with the guy in the desert, and they were doing this rain dance. And the guy basically, the Native American guy, went into the middle of this spiritual circle and just stood there with his eyes closed, praying like this. And then it only lasted for a couple minutes, and then the guy stopped, and then Greg and the guy went off for a drink at the bar somewhere. And Greg said, you know, can I ask you, what were you praying? Because it didn't look like you did much of anything. And the next day, it started to rain, and then it started to rain and rain and rain again. So Greg said, wow, you must have been doing something miraculous. And he said, I focused on the abundance. He focused, the guy who was doing the praying, he wasn't focusing on, like, I'll try to do a demonstration. Okay, hold on here. Okay, Maurice. The Indian was not doing like, oh God, please send us rain because we're so fucking desperate. We need rain, rain, rain. The Indian confided to Greg that what he was doing like this was like, oh wow, this is amazing. I can feel it. My feet are soggy and cool with all the mud from the rain. The air smells delicious from all the rain. I can see plants sprouting and growing. I can see sparkling raindrops falling from the heavens. This is amazing. I feel it. I feel it. Oh, it's beautiful. And that was the end of the prayer. And Greg said, wow, that's freaky. And then the rain went on for days and it couldn't stop. And then Greg said, do you think you overdid it a little bit with your rain prayer? And the guy said, well, in some ways, because I learned that from my grandparents and my elders, but they never told me how to say stop the rain. Anyway, I'm talking about focusing on the energy of abundance, focusing on the energy of richness, beauty, and the good things that you have. And then that changes everything. That just changes the perspective. And so, that's the situation right now. It's a question of focus. Where are we focused? Okay? Focus on your abundance. The situation is abundance because you're feeling lack of abundance right now in terms of health, pain, frustration, and all of that. But you also have to understand that there is abundance in your life. And so it might be an idea to sort of blink and look at yourself in the mirror in a different way and realize, my gosh, Yeah, I am really pissed off with my freaking job. I might be falling apart. Maybe my ankles are collapsing. Maybe my hips are aching. Maybe I'm just sick of it all. But I do have a form of abundance. Now, while I am in this condition of abundance, which is actually very frustrating, what do I see for me in the future? What is my new vision of abundance? Okay? Because it's all part of the same prayer. Now, what's the problem here? Oh, gosh. Okay, so you've got the death card, number 13, transformation. This is the energy of evolution, transformation, moving from one state of being to another state of being. And for you to evolve, grow, adapt, and thrive, it means having to evolve from one way of being to a new way of being. Can you see this over here? Tiny little far away in the distance. Those are the tower cards from, the cards from inside the moon card, if you want to look at it that way. But it looks so far away and scary, but on the other side of that is a whole new world, whole new horizons. And that's what lies there for you. But you can't go there without going through deep, profound changes. So for example, Maurice, you might be one of these people who is deeply frightened of change. For example, if you've got a really good, safe, steady job, but you're sick of it, but you know you're going to get a retirement package and a pension and all your benefits and so on, health benefits or whatever they have for you that comes with the job, it might be so terrifying, the whole concept of actually walking away from a job that you don't like anymore, that you simply don't do it. So you end up becoming the obstacle to your own evolution. So I'm not saying just take that job and shove it. Don't be scared of change. Don't be scared to quit, walk away, and move into the horizon, a new life that you know you want and deserve. No, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying right now is be grateful for what you have in the fullest picture before you do anything radical and change just because you're sick of it. You can be sick of a job and then keep doing it, but it might be an attitude shift. So how are we going to deal with this? Because if you're really sick of it and you want to get back into a feeling of abundance again, it is going to require some kind of profound shift, some kind of change in terms of attitude. Being able to change energy flows where attention goes. So if you're constantly focused on this, but we need to be over here, that involves a huge leap of faith, a huge transformational shift, vibrational energy healing to move from this perspective on life to this perspective on life. Okay? So how do we do this? Okay, this requires deep self-examination. Okay, there's 7 pentacles here. So all of these pentacles represent abundance, wealth, and abundance. But to me, I would say with the 7 of pentacles, it's like having a garden that has fruit, vegetables, or whatever, and the potential for all that, but it's has not been examined or maintained or pruned properly in such a way that all the potential abundance that is yours and out there is obscured by overgrowth or the inability to do proper maintenance. Perhaps you're putting so much time, so many work hours in that you haven't had any time to do any maintenance on yourself. So this card is very much about removing obstacles to happiness, wealth, and abundance in some way, shape, or another. For example, I don't know what the financials are for you, but if you're just working for the sake of just getting as much money as you possibly can, which is understandable in the world economy right now, that might actually work against you to some way. Because if you're grinding yourself into the ground simply to get the money, it could be counterproductive, and you end up, it's like self-harm. So if you, with the 7 of Pentacles here, it feels to me like re-examine your life from a new perspective. Understand that you have this wealth and abundance. It's there in some way, shape, or form or another. What are the obstacles to your abundance? What are they? Is it a rigid attitude? Is it the fear of not having money? Is it the fear of changing? Or is it the fear of going to your supervisors and saying, man, I need a freaking break. Can you put me on some shortened hours? I need a long weekend. I need a week off or something. And if you're deeply scared of change, if you're deeply scared to go to the supervisors or whoever, where because basically you already know that you have to do something. This takes work. This is self-examination, okay? Removing obstacles to your own wealth. The wealth is already there, but you can't harvest that wealth if it's completely overgrown with weeds and confusion or fear in such a way that it might be so weeded over, perhaps like prickly weeds. I don't want to even go in there. I don't want to even stick my hands in there because I know I'm going to get ripped up. And so you end up stuck in a situation. So the importance of this card is to realize that the only way you can get back into a state of natural abundance and health is by going through some very scary personal changes internally, where you have to refocus your attitude onto what is not working, but focus onto what can work for you in a loving way, and then start to do the homework one at a time, one day at a time, one obstacle at a time. Start removing obstacles to your wealth. The wealth is there. How you describe wealth, how you define wealth, that's your own business. Maybe it's being healthy, maybe it's having money, maybe it's having a mixture of all of that, maybe it's having time, maybe this is all out of balance here. Maybe your wealth is out of balance. Maybe you need more time, more downtime and rest, but you can't solve it unless you make it your business to get into the weeds of your life and start pruning and removing, and just take your time. Do this incrementally, okay? It's really all on you, Maurice. That's how I look at it. The way to handle your situation with the job right now is to understand that it's something that you're going to have to figure out for yourself by changing the lens, changing the focus, and doing the really scary thing of having to do the weeding on the garden, okay? The garden of abundance, the garden of your own wealth. That wealth includes health, happiness, personal time, enough money to get by somehow, doing things that you like and enjoy. It's important to look at your life from the bigger perspective instead of just getting and having money by doing a job. Okay? There are other perspectives, and it's time to look at that right now. It's time to get your assets to shine by doing the homework, removing the obstacles, digging them out, examining them, and find out what it is that are really your priorities. Okay? I hope that helped you, Maurice. Okay? It's very different. You might not be used to the way I do these readings, Maurice, but it really is. If you see Nikki's notes there, let's have a look. Thank you so much, Maurice. Okay, I hope that helped you. Tina, you're up. Yes, Nikki, I see your notes there. Abundance is having everything you need when you need it. Nothing more, nothing less. Exactly, TL. That is abundance. Okay. Thank you, Maurice. Thank you for coming to the show and your kindness and generosity. The question is, how do you define abundance for yourself, Maurice? For example, it might be an idea to put on some notes. It really helps to write things out. I like to write things out on lists. I like to make my astrodoodles. It really helps to clarify things rather than sitting and worrying, okay? So you could make a list of 7 things. What are the most valuable things to you in your life right now? Number 1, having enough money. Number 2, maybe health. Maybe free time, whatever it is. Make a list, okay, Maurice, of the 7 most important things that are very valuable to you. And how are you going to get that? And it might not be simply from just working, 70 hours a week. Okay, you might have to reconfigure everything, and then the subject or the word abundance might have a different translation for you. Okay? Thanks, Maurice. Okay, so Sarah, thank you. So you got a little bit out of that too. Okay. Love Triber has a gratitude tree. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's have a look. All right, Tina. I think your notes earlier said like you're in pretty good shape right now. You've obviously gone through the heaviest parts of the transition and now you're in a new life ahead of you. Whatever, I don't know if we followed up, Tina, but you were having a very, very heavy time a while back. I think it was your son-in-law, who was a very young fellow, father of like 3 or 4 little kids, was having a terrible time. What's been happening over there, Tina? Is everything sort of coming out okay? I mean, you don't have to tell us, but you know, you did share a lot with us a few weeks ago, and it was a very, very heavy situation that you were having to deal with. The little kids. Yeah. I'm not going to go into that right now, Tina, because you know it's that's your business, but some of the people on this channel know you well because you've been here since almost the beginning of the channel. Really appreciate that generosity over the years. Okay. All right, so Tina, let's see what kind of messages do we have for you today from heaven. By the way, everybody needs to know, if you don't know it already, Tina is one of these people who has put a lot of work into know thyself, which is the pathway to love thyself. That means deep, close self-examination, being very, very pure and honest and true with oneself, accepting universal truth, being unwilling to compromise on the self, being willing to handle facts, reality, and truth as they are, and making decisions from that perspective rather than living out of fear and making decisions based on fear. Tina has done a lot of work on herself. Oh, Tina, I see your note on the screen there. It says, Will is doing good and is back to work. That's freaking mind-boggling. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so for the viewers who don't know what we're talking about, Tina is living in Texas with her extended family, and it was a big, bold decision, very life-changing, and one of her, I think it's her son-in-law, was stricken and ended up in a hospital in very, very dire conditions, but it sounds like he's come out of it and he's back to work already. That's kind of miraculous. Okay? Okay. I don't know what happened to the camera. It got jammed. Okay, there it is. It's good. I've kind of given up on a lot of the technology and the equipment because I only know so much. A lot of things I just don't understand. But anyway, the camera seems to be working all right. All right, Tina, we're going to do the same old thing with the same old spread. I know it's not very exciting visually just to see the same spread over and over again, but, you know, maybe think of it like Wheel of Fortune, you know? It's just the same old wheel every freaking show, you know? But we do what we have to do, okay? Laura Thomas says that was a good reading. Thank you, Laura. So I'm glad you're still here, Laura, because you're going to get your reading after Tina's reading. Let's have a look. All right, we're good. Cards are well shuffled. Can you let us know, Tina, what's the situation with the dogs? How many dogs? What kind of dogs? How are they doing? I know they're a big part of your family. Okay, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. So this, I'm just going completely blind, okay, Tina? I'm going to refer to this again. This is what's out there for everybody. So it's up to us as individuals to make the best of it, to make the use of it, best use of all of this. The great beneficence of this beautiful, stabilizing, grounded, earthy energy, which is helping a lot of us to cope with this deeply destabilizing energy over here. Okay? What was that thing? There's a Dickens book or something, apparently. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Charles Dickens, I think, wrote that in one of his famous books. Please don't quote me. I don't know. I don't think I even read the book. But I'm pretty sure that was it. Charles Dickens. I don't even know what the name of the book, famous book, was. Anyway, let's have a look. What do we got here? Oh, whoa. So we've got the Ace of Pentacles. This is kind of fun. To me, it feels like... okay, how about let's look at it this way. We've got a new moon coming up, all right, soon. All right, Tina? It's going to be roughly, I think it's about the 17th. We had the full moon in Pisces, let's see, on Wednesday. Today, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The 10th is the quarter moon. So the 17th is the new moon. I think this energy is referring to the Virgo new moon. Like the time just after that, the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, would resonate very strong. This is very earth energy. Pentacles, money, new starts, new beginnings with earthly, meaningful, valuable endeavors. Okay? Maybe this is referring to, let's say, a new chapter in your life that has the chance to unfold now, specifically in terms of divine timing regarding the Virgo new moon coming up on the 17th of September. So by that time, the sun will be over here in Virgo. It's still, just by sign alone, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, you're still going to have this big, green, fat Earth trine, which is very supportive. It just won't be quite as exact as this, but it will still be there in terms of the raw energy. So my feeling is that towards the end of September, if you kind of treat this time from now, getting towards the Virgo new moon, this is the time for you to prepare yourself, with all these retrogrades especially, start to prepare yourself for new starts and new beginnings, especially when it comes to restructuring your life and your world in very physical, material terms. All that earthy stuff, things like you said something about plants and gardens, okay? New starts, new beginnings in very physical things, money, gardens, anything to do with nature, plants, keep going back to money, obviously, just in such a way that's very, very grounded, stable, wholesome, honest, and rewarding, okay? Now, you wrote something about, what was it, just a new, what is it, a raised garden. So, Tina, you should know that Love Triber is interested in these kind of raised garden things. I'm not particularly good at the stuff. I can do some stuff, but I have a lot of stuff that I want to do that isn't necessarily gardening. But I do understand the desire to have your own garden. So this could be like the energy of planting seeds, new starts and new beginnings over here. Well, it could also be very symbolic. To me, this feels like a very symbolic energy of basically like a way of you Tina, are now in a position where you can be kind of like this earth mother, like a earth goddess of abundance, where you create this highly stabilizing central core in the world where you are with your extended family. And then this energy, for example, with that raised garden, for example, that could be a very symbolic thing, because gardens tend to, if it's all about making food, it's a very much a community thing. It can be a very bonding, healing thing to have a little raised garden where everybody gets involved in some way, shape, or another. Somebody does the watering, somebody does the pruning, somebody does the whatever. I don't know. I'm not really a gardener, but it would be symbolic. And so when you have this thing that is not you, it's not your extended family, it's this thing that is a symbol, that can be very, let's say, like a gravitational pull towards this thing, which helps people to learn, evolve, and grow and adapt in that extended family kind of environment. It's a focal point. It's like what people do with barbecues or picnic tables. It's a gathering place. So it looks very rich and wholesome, and it's an opportunity. It's coming to you. You're already in the vortex of opportunity, but I think with the Ace of Pentacles here and the way I'm looking at the charts, this is the time now to get yourself set up to prepare for abundance in a healthy way, including money or garden or planting or, building. Taurus energy is very much about construction and building. Virgo is about maintenance. Capricorn is about management. It's all really, really good stuff for creating stability and wholesomeness and abundance. Physical, tangible, dirt, money, things that you can enjoy, real stuff. What's the situation itself? Queen of Pentacles. Whoa. Okay, so I'm almost feeling the energy of Sugar Mama. Okay? It's almost like you are almost perceived right now as this sort of queen of abundance, this Sugar Mama who just landed from outer space, and you're good news for everybody. The thing about you, Tina, is that you've lived in such a state of trauma. Because you dealt with trauma as a profession. That was your job for years, to deal with trauma. And now you've, I think, gained so much and learned from that, and you've made huge life changes that you have like a platform of abundance to draw on, where you can capitalize on the life that you've lived and, let's say, kind of cash in on it now and go from there from a perspective of abundance. Now, this is not the energy, the kind of energy that is squandered. This is the energy of like really sacred abundance, hard-earned abundance, abundance that is well maintained, very high standards of stewardship of abundance, money, time, resources, having really, really advanced and increasingly advanced skills in money management, allocation of resources, how to make your money work for you, how to create abundance out of abundance, if that makes any sense to you, Tina. In other words, abundance breeds abundance. By kind of tapping into the world of abundance, you can open doors to new layers of abundance that didn't exist before. So the Queen of Pentacles here indicates to me that if you're not playing the role of the steward of these finances, it's very important that you be willing to take on the role of being like the custodian, the boss, where other people would perceive you as being in charge. It's just like they would almost kind of look up to you, like thank God Tina is here, because this is not an energy that would be wasted or squandered. This would be energy of growth. Abundance leads to growth. Like if you're planting seeds of harmony and growth in the extended family, that's going to lead to more abundance in the extended family. So that's really good news from what I see here. What's the challenges? Okay, to me it looks like there's a deep fear of getting stuck, I would say, because I'm on this theme of family and abundance. To me, it feels like there's a deep fear of being stuck or caught into irreconcilable conflicts, perhaps between yourself and other extended family members, or perhaps where you are a witness to unreconcilable conflicts between some of your extended family members, where you as a witness see this kind of stuff going on, and it's almost nothing you can do to heal it or solve it in the short term, because someone is always trying to prove themselves right over and above someone else, where the goal is to be right rather than happy. Sometimes it's okay to basically, and I'm not saying compromise oneself or, lower oneself to get along, but it's the art of compromise. Like, it's what they do in business deals. In a very well thought out business deal, nobody gets 100% of what they want. And that's why they have negotiations in business deals, is to bring all the parties together who might have different expectations of outcomes of what abundance would look like. And then everybody has to come to a consensus. Well, okay, so long as everybody gets about 70% of what they want and it's shared and fair, that's great. But some people can't handle that. You might be frightened that there's a couple of people who might be more concerned about being right and holding on to their rights, their self-righteousness, their sense of superiority, their sense of I'm right and you're wrong, rather than having to actually come to a conclusive, healthy outcome. And then you end up in a trap of irreconcilable, unprovable situations that never get resolved, and then everyone else ends up kind of like, well, we're screwed, or we cannot evolve any farther than this person who is obstructing the evolution, simply because they insist on being right. Okay, and that's a problem. It might be in your situation, Tina, with the extended family, that there's maybe a person or an outside person or an external influence that is behaving sort of like an obstacle to the potential abundance to happen. Now, this is fear. It may not be fact. It may not be a manifested reality, okay? But the fear might be there, and that might be understandable. Because if you're like a new arrival in a new situation, you were with an extended family where there was a pre-existing status quo, and then you come along and you're kind of like this, almost like a savior kind of energy here. It could be disruptive for someone else who might have been, let's say, at the very top of the pecking order. And then all of a sudden you come along and you're like the queen of abundance here, and now you're at the top of the pecking order from someone else's perspective in a very unhealthy way. In other words, they're not looking at you as a source of abundance. They're looking at you as a threat to their dominant position. Okay? I don't know the details about any of this, Tina. That's what I'm sensing here off of this card. So there's something to be aware of. I don't know if you've got any characters like that in your world, but if you do, and you're scared of it, it's understandable. It doesn't mean they have to own you. It doesn't mean that they're going to disrupt or undermine all your goodness. But it's good to be aware of it, especially if it's true and it's there. How are we going to deal with this? Okay, so with the Page of Wands, really it's kind of simple. You get back into very, very simple, straightforward ways of going forward. You tap into your natural courage. You're already very courageous by nature, Tina, to have taken on the roles in life that you've taken on already, to bring your talents and gifts and resources and good intentions to your extended family is a very wholesome, loving thing to do. It's a self-loving thing to do, is because I believe that you get a lot of satisfaction out of this role of being this person. So even if you are, let's say, being undermined, or you're scared of, or you're conflicted, or you're you're under a state of conflict from some kind of external influence that is like, and I'm not saying it's destroying this, but it makes it difficult for you to operate at full abundance. I feel here with the Page of Wands, there's no point in taking it personally. It's just that some people can't handle other people's good fortune or other people's abundance. They take it personally as though you are trying to snub them. Okay, it doesn't have to be that way. I think for the time being with this Page of Wands, the way to go forward in the storyline that I'm looking at here is understand that to some extent you're innocent. You're starting a new chapter in life, and you're going to do the best that you can, and you will continue to do the best that you can despite any obstacles or resistance or anyone or anything that might appear to undermine your new golden opportunities, your stewardship. Someone might feel threatened. So let me go back to you a second. Hold on, stay there. So like with that Page of Wands, it feels to me it's just like if you encounter belligerence, or if you encounter some kind of friction that you don't really deserve, but it's there anyway simply because somebody can't handle you in your abundance, in your opportunity, and they might be jealous, or they might feel disrupted because you're now here in a very strong position, and they might not be able to handle that psychologically, emotionally, or spiritually. So without claiming any kind of superiority, if you operate, say, at these frequencies, okay, Tina, and someone else over here, perhaps represented by that Seven of Swords, by that Five of Swords, if they're operating over here in a state of conflict, it might not be anything personal. It just might not be that they can handle your frequencies here. And rather than them having to do the work of understanding you and coming up to your frequencies, which are much healthier, they would rather try to undermine you so that you end up having to come down to their frequencies. Basically, don't take the bait. You just keep going anyway, and whoever it is or whatever it is that might feel like a threat to undermining you, you just kind of like, well, I'm sorry, like, there's no point in retaliation. There's no point in trying to impose any kind of superiority to any conflicting person or situation. It's better to just accept it as it is. Go forward with a sense of youthful courage and a sense of winning, a sense of victory, that everything's going to be okay. Like you are, like heaven is on your side. Angels are on your side. You keep going anyway, even if there is conflict or lack of resolution about certain matters that are, let's say, very sticky. Okay? Very sticky, not sticky, but very awkward matters deep inside the extended family network of some kind. So it's families, there's always some kind of little dingly thing going on in families somewhere, somehow. With the Page of Wands, don't take it personally. Just go forward with the best of intentions, knowing that you've got a lot of momentum on your side. It's almost like your guardian angels there. You've got a really good team, and they want you to succeed. They want you to go forward. So that's what you do. All right, so Tina, I hope that helps. I hope that reading makes some kind of sense to you. Let's have a look. Okay, let's have a look. All right, let's have a look. We're going to move on, Laura. It's you now. You're up next. Thank you, Tina. It's been really fun reading for you again. I think it was the Five. Well, that was the Five of Swords, wasn't it? Yeah. No, it was definitely the Five. All right. Love Driver. The book is Tale of Two Cities. A Tale of Two Cities. Oh, from Dickens. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Wait a minute. I just saw something up there. Wait, what was that? I missed something in the chat. Hold on. What was that I just saw? I got to go back a little. Something from Tina there. Oh, Great Expectations. Great Expectations. Uh-oh, I heard a cat. I think I heard a cat. Oh, look, those are the dogs that I was talking about. Thank you, Tina. Sure. Sash and Charlie are German Shepherds, 4 years old. Zeus, 16. Shiba Inu. And Zach, 12 or so, or Yorkie. Zach was my mom's dog. Wow. You've got a lot of people and animals on there in your life, your world. Okay. Give me a second. Laura, you're up. I just need to do something here. I need to check the door to the studio. Stay right there. Oh, there you are. Come on over here. Let's have a look. I'll put you on camera. Everybody would love to see you. Give me a second, Laura. Is it food time? You want food, don't you? I thought so. All right. Let me do this. I'll pick you up. Okay. So it's pet hour. Let me do this thing here where I'm going to check in. Here he is. Here's Bubba. Bubba wants food. This is Bubba. He's very handsome. He's generally a very happy little cat. He might look a bit grumpy, but the lights are very bright and he's not used to being under the Hollywood lights all the time. But anyway, he just wanted to say hello. He likes to be cuddled. He really does. And he's going to jump down in a minute because I know what he wants really. It's not me, it's food. So here we go. Thank you, Bubba, for hanging in. You'll have to go now. I still got to finish the show. I'll be out in a while, okay? Whew, man. Tina, I don't know how you do it. All the animals, all the people. I wish I had those kind of abilities. I barely know how to look after myself. I wonder how I survive one day to the next. I don't have any kids of my own. I've sort of helped to raise a bunch of kids. I'm not married. I have a very kind of spacey life that I live. I'm barely have my feet on this planet because I mostly seem to be operate up here at these frequencies, very close to those energies, typically represented by like Piscean energy, Neptunian energy, whereas down here on Earth it's mostly like Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus energy. So right now, for example, I'm very, very grateful for this big, fat, grand Earth trine right now. It's making me feel at home. It makes me feel safe on planet Earth because I don't often feel safe here. I've had a very, I would say, unstable life with a lot of very scary, dangerous things happened. So I'm extremely happy and fortunate to be alive at all at this time because I've nearly been dead many times over because of so much random stuff. But we're still here. I'm still here. So maybe there's a reason for it all. Let's have a look. Yay! That was Bubba. Yes, Stargirl, that was Bubba. I love Bubba too. There's also Bonnie and there's also Boo Boo. So there's Boo Boo, Bubba, and Bonnie. They like me, I like them. Okay? There's one thing that they have in common with me that they all share, and it's something to do with food. Anyway, I like to do that stuff. Tina has a lot of Neptune energy. Oh, it's probably because you're in the healing arts, you know. Anyway, thank you. I thank you for putting up with my little distraction there. That was Bubba. So now all of you, that's the third time Bubba has been on camera now. Basically, he was checking in. He wanted to know when he's going to have his dinner. All right, Laura. So Laura You didn't put any notes on the screen, so I'm basically going to do a complete blind reading for you. I hope you're okay with that. And Sarah has Billy. Okay. Bubba, Bonnie, Boo Boo, and now Billy. And Bobby. You've got Bobby? You've got a Billy and a Bobby? Seriously, Sarah? Oh my gosh. I think it would be really cool. I think what we're going to do soon is have another one of those members nights or an open invitation. We'll have a private meeting with Tarot Illumination on the Tarot Illumination meeting room. So we can dive deeper into some very serious, heavy subjects that we can't really do here at the channel in this way. Okay, Laura, so we're just going to go for it. Thank you. I'm glad you understand the vibes of the show. Sometimes it's just the most fun thing to do is just a complete blind reading. So what I would recommend right now, Laura, I don't know what... I just felt something strange. I just felt something strange, Laura. Yeah. So, does this sound strange to you? I mean, I know there's my scarf is sitting over here, but are you wearing a shawl of some kind? Did you just put on some kind of like an evening gown or a dressing gown or something? Or were you just adjusting a shirt or some kind of robe thing? I'm just curious, because that's what I saw. I felt like you were it felt like you came into the studio here and you parked yourself in front of me for your reading, and like what some people do, you know, you sit down and you kind of go, you know, pretend I'm you and I'm coming into my reading. Oh, it's my turn for my reading now. Like, okay, that's what I sensed. So I was just kind of curious. I sensed it as a shawl, some kind of shawl or a comforter or something. Anyway, you don't have to answer that question. If it sounds like I'm like insane to you, don't worry about it. I might have got confused with something else. Oh, you're putting a blanket on your lap. Okay, all right, got it. Okay, well that makes sense. It makes sense because I felt this sort of ruffling of fabric around your body. So there we go. By the way, Laura, in case you're not aware of it, there's a bunch of other readers that come to this channel or these shows sometimes. Like Nikki does remote viewing. Frittily is a reader. If anybody wants a reading, a secondary reading, you can check in with Frittily. She does completely different kind of readings. And by the way, Love Triber does readings as well. Robin's Realm. Robin does readings too. They're all here. I don't know if they're still here right now, but anyway, they do readings. So if any of you need a reading that's different from Tarot Illumination and still, in that kind of quality level, I get it, sitting outside wrapped in a blanket. Got it. Makes total sense. The thing is, Laura, I used to be a consultant, what they call a technical advisor. I used to work in Hollywood many years ago, and one of my first jobs was being a technical advisor on some of these like psychic, celebrity psychic medium TV shows. Karen is from New Zealand. Oh gosh. So hold on, Karen, just a second. So I was trying to describe to Laura that I used to do stuff that was more like mediumship and psychic readings. But I had difficulties handling it because I couldn't tell when they were going to happen, with who or why or where. So I got very disoriented with all of that stuff. And anyway, I got hired as the consultant for some of these shows. And a lot of the times it was for the producers and the celebrities that would come on the show for their psychic readings and things. But sometimes the psychics would become really disoriented from going in a live show environment, because usually psychic readings are held in a very private environment. And so sometimes they would get really disoriented and they would get stuck, or so I would have to get called in to figure out like how are we going to deal with this thing, whatever the problem was. So that's what they do on those shows. And my job often involved having a lot of psychic, mediumistic type experiences. But after a while I got sick of it because the producers, I discovered, were really corrupt. Anyway, have a look. So I was just going to mention, Fritterly does readings, Love Triber does readings, Robin's Realms does readings, Nikki does remote viewing, all sorts of things. I can't remember who else is here who does readings, but if you want to let me know, put it in the screen. And if those people want to get those readings, if anybody wants to get those readings, you can write to Terra Illumination at, go to the terraillumination.com and go to the connect page, and you can write to me and I'll hook you up with the other readers. Karen Clark, hello. Everybody, Karen Clark is here right now. Queen of Water is over there in the afternoon in Australia. Karen Clark is over there. It is about early afternoon over there in New Zealand. Really close up. Karen lives just at the very tippity top of my fingernail there. There we go. Hello, Karen. I hope you're doing okay. Thanks for dropping in. All right, Laura, here we go. Laura's sitting outside wrapped in a blanket in Kentucky. I hope you're having a nice balmy, cool evening. Oh, Ivona, are you talking about one of your cats? Ivona is a cat lady, I believe. Is that correct, or is it the dog lady? So I'm guessing you're talking about one of your furry friends, Ivona. Benny. Lovely Lady Bones. Did I say that correctly? Lovely Lady Bones? What about that? Lovely Lady Bones. Oh, you know what? Lovely Lady Bones. Have you ever heard of that movie or seen that movie, The Lovely Bones? I remember that from years ago. It was a very mystical, spacey, beautiful movie. I should watch that again. It's beautiful. All right, let's have a look here. All right, Laura, so what's going on over there with you in Kentucky? So cuddle up, get your blanket on, get yourself prepped up and ready. And we're going to do this. Take a look around you. Be aware that you do have guides, guardians. I think of them as invisible friends, and they are there with you right now. If you're not too aware of them, then please invite them to join you. Literally just talk to them. Don't worry if you're... I would say it out loud. I would say, dear invisible friends, dear guardians, dear angels, dear guides, please come and join me in my reading with Terra Illumination right now, because Terra Illumination does this all the time, and he always has his invisible friends with him too, so I want mine too, so we can have a party, a tarot party. Okay? All right, let's have a look. Cards. I need to do one more little spin here. Give me a second. That's pretty good. All right, this is it. Let's have a look. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Remember, Laura, I'm not a fortune teller. All I'm doing is tapping into, I would say, the universal vortex, the energy fields that are out there, and then we interpret it. I feel like what I do is I'm an interpreter of a story. That's sort of what it is. I'm going to do the same thing with you. We have here the Ace of Cups. My goodness. So, again, I have a feeling, whether you like it or know it or not, dear Laura, you are in a vortex of sacred opportunity here. It's the Ace of Cups. And I think it's very much related to this big, fat, grand Earth trine that is sitting all over the planet Earth right now, thanks to these alignments of the planets over here. Okay? Uranus and the moon in Taurus, sun in Virgo, Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter up there in Capricorn. That is a very rich, strong, powerful, big, fat, grand Earth trine. So it's very harmonious, it's very supportive, again, for new starts and new beginnings here. I don't know if this is relating to the Virgo new moon at all. So I'm not even going to... I just thought I'd better mention it because when I did that reading with Tina, I think she got that Ace of Pentacles. Was that Tina who got that? Anyway, so this is, again, a card of sacred opportunity. It's out there, okay? Remember, I'm talking about the collective energy that's surrounding. You're swimming in this. It's like swimming in an ocean of love, understanding that you're surrounded by a massive vortex, a massive infinite energy field where you are just as much part of it as Mount Everest, as the president, as the ocean, as the birds, as the plants and the trees. We are all one, and it's all one thing. We're all made out of photons, electrons, neutrons, atoms. We're made out of stardust. Planet Earth is made out of raw materials that were just random dust at one time, and they coalesced into this amazing planet. So here you are today, Laura Thomas, sitting outside with your blanket, getting a reading with Tarot Illumination. And we come out here. It looks very, to me it feels very innocent. I have to go back to you personally here. So with this Ace of Cups, what I'm sensing for you is that you're swimming like in an ocean of love, an ocean of divine, an ocean of divinity, okay? Where it's always there, all the time, on demand, just like that, as needed, okay? And it's so easy for us to forget as human beings, because most of the time we're worried about, like, oh, I got to catch the bus, or man, I'm hungry, I got to go shopping, get a meal because I forgot to buy certain something, or have I got enough gasoline in the car? Am I ever going to pay my rent or my mortgage? So we get consumed by all these earthly day-to-day things that take us away from the heart center. But I think what this reading is already starting off with is it's a reminder for you, Laura, that everything that's good in life comes from here. It starts from here. It comes from there, moves into you, and you own it. And the question is, what do you do with that right now? The Ace of Cups is a card of sacred opportunity. I think it's there. It's a very sort of subtle message to me. It feels like it's not like your guy. It's not even like your guides are saying. It's more like for me, it's my job to tell you, to inform you that whether you like it or know it or not, you are swimming in an ocean of love. And it helps to have an awareness, because then you can, like, it's like, oh. It's like having a credit card that goes on forever. You know, it's just like, oh, okay. So obviously you don't abuse it, but you still use it, okay? So with the Ace of Cups, new starts and new beginnings, and you worked for this. You deserve this, okay? Perhaps in other lifetimes or earlier lifetimes, perhaps love is coming your way, perhaps like an external source of love, or perhaps it's time for you to engage with your world, engage with the universe, and see it as this beautiful, beautiful thing in which you are swimming, like an ocean of love, where it's just like, wow, wherever you go, wherever you do, it is what it is. Like, even if something scary happens, like a homeless person falls on the ground and starts choking. Oh no. Is it your job to save them? Is it your job to run up to them? Or is it better just to phone 911 and say, hello, I don't know what to do, I'm not a doctor. And that would be a loving thing to do. You don't have to sacrifice yourself in any way to tap into and enjoy this love thing. You can literally enjoy the experience of love. How can I put this? You know how I sometimes do this thing? Be loving, be loved. Be loving, be loved. Okay? Sometimes like I am loving, I am loved, I am loving, I am loved. It starts from the self. You have to learn and know how to love thyself, okay? And once you understand that it's actually something you can learn and do, then you realize like it's actually kind of cool. I ask for the healing power of love to fill my life from the world up above. I do this like these little mantra, like prayer things. Let me do one. I ask for the healing power of love to fill my body from up above. I ask for the healing power of love to fill my mind from up above. I ask for the healing power of love to fill my heart from up above. I ask for the healing power of love to fill my soul from up above. Okay? And it's just a simple prayer. You say that enough times, and it's like sort of dinging a bell. Ding, 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 ding. And it resonates, and this sort of thing, this sort of magical vortex starts to come into your life. And you think, wow, what was that? It feels good. So you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again until it becomes autopilot. And then you kind of every day wake up with this sense of like, I am loving, I am loved. And then you can go, if you say it in a circle enough, okay, I am loving, I am loved, I am loving, I am loved, I am loving, I am loved, okay? But if you start it the other way, it still sends the same thing. I am loved, I am loving, I am loved, I am loving, I am loved, I am loving. You see? See what I'm trying to get at? It sounds weird. Once you know that you are loved, it gives you this amazing sense of freedom and permission to be loving. It's just like, I can just be a loving person because I'm swimming in love. I'm made of love. I invoke love into my life. Therefore, I own it. And the big question is, what am I going to do with it? And that's a big problem for some people. But we're not going to go there with this reading. Okay, let's... So, to me, this feels like a very subtle message about a very big thing. Understand that you are loving and that you are loved, but it is a choice. You've got the opportunity here, so it's your chance now to be loving, be loved, and I would recommend by starting with an invocation, asking for the healing power of love to fill your body, mind, heart, and soul from above. And you can extend the prayer from there, okay? Let's have a look. What's the situation? Okay. So we got really two powerful cards to start your reading, Laura. I don't know if you've been blown away by love recently, or some kind of shock has come to you recently, or whether you're going through some kind of cataclysmic, tumultuous changes in your life, perhaps for the better, sometimes catastrophic implosions in life can lead us to shocking, new, unpredictable beginnings, okay? So, out of the old comes the new. Out of the ashes comes a new thing. Like, this is very much a healing card. I often see the Tower as the most healing card in the deck because it means like the total obliteration of destruction of anything and everything that is no longer relevant to you in your life in any way, shape, or form. And so if you never had the ability or the courage or the consciousness or awareness to get rid of anything that is obstructing your evolution, then guess what? Nature takes care of that for you. And it might come in the form of a catastrophe, but in the end, it's like a blessing in disguise. So if you're going through something kind of cataclysmic at the moment in some way, shape, or another, understand it's not the end of the world. It can often mean that what's happening is you're going through a massive experience of creative destruction. I've been using that phrase a lot recently because America is going through that right now. America is born with Pluto in Capricorn at 27 degrees and with Mercury in Cancer at about 26 degrees. very, very close to the Cancerian sun. So you have this Sun-Pluto opposition. And whenever you have a really strong Sun-Pluto opposition, it's the energy of creative destruction. The Pluto does the destruction and the obliteration of anything and everything that's obsolete, and then the sun creates the new. So you might be going through this as a chapter in your life right now where, let's say, anything and everything that is obsolete and redundant concerning your ability to evolve, grow, and adapt, to be loving, to be loved, that's what's happening. And at the same time, as everything is going through, like, it's either a controlled demolition or it's a cataclysmic, fated kind of destruction. That is the foundation for the new thing, whatever that looks like. You know, maybe a new love life, or a new way of looking at life, or an implosion or loss of redundant belief systems, attitudes, perceptions, maybe a tragic loss of a love, so that a new perspective of love can arrive. Let's have a look. What are the challenges here? Okay, so you've got the Eight of Pentacles. It's very much to do with work and money, investments, investing. It might be like if you're suffering for example, a loss of a job or something, or a loss of a career, and you're struggling with that, perhaps wondering like, how on earth am I ever going to get enough money again? Where am I going to find work, career, employment? How can I optimize my assets that I have already? I'm terrified of being a slave to a paycheck. I'm terrified of being a slave to mortgages, car payments, credit cards, college loans, hospitalization, healthcare programs, and all of that. You might be deeply scared of financial matters in your life because of what's happening in America right now. For example, in America there's like whatever it is, 40 million people who are going through financial catastrophes right now. And I even wrote my book. That was what my book was about, was the catastrophic financial events of January 2020, precipitated by the virus, of course, that has turned into like an economic implosion for the United States. So you, Laura, might be one of those people who's feeling it directly in your life in some way or another. You are protected, though. Remember, to me it looks like you're divinely protected. So even though you might have some kind of tumultuous shifts, changes, radical implosions, and it's making you scared about money, or your resources, or what are you supposed to do with your time, money, and resources now going forward, and you don't have an idea, well, let's just keep going anyway. Let's see what happens. How are we going to deal with this? Okay, so with the Knight of Swords here, to me it feels like there's going to have to be some kind of massive truth-telling, where it's almost like you're going to have to face yourself, face your circumstances, deal with the hard truth and realities about your life and your world right now, where there is no room for ambiguity. However these cards translate to you and for you, if you're getting anything out of the storyline here, especially if it's challenging for you and it's affecting your worldly stability, your finances, a career in some way, shape, or other, remember that you are guided and protected. You've got a chance for new starts and beginnings, and there's probably nothing more profoundly handy than having the Tower card to obliterate everything that is no longer relevant in your life, so you can actually tap in to the new starts and new beginnings over here. But with the Knight of Swords, it means you have to understand what's happening from a very spiritual perspective, rather than things like money, career, jobs. Things happen for a reason. Some of you know, because I wrote that book, this thing here. I didn't put any astrodoodles in this book, Laura, but I did write this book years and years ago, forecasting about the global restructuring starting January 2020. And I actually pinpoint very specific dates for all this stuff to happen. And so I'm seeing a kind of a relevance here for you, where There's no point in taking it personally. Everything is exactly as it should be. For example, I don't know if you've ever watched the movie. If you're concerned about finances and money, Laura, you might want to watch a movie called Margin Call. You might want to watch a movie called The Big Short. It's very much about what happened when Pluto went into Capricorn around 2008, 2009, and it was the collapse of the American banking stock market event, okay? So here we are, what is it, like 12 years later, Pluto in Capricorn in this very powerful alignment, we're heading to a much bigger cataclysmic event financially. So this Pluto in Capricorn thing here, I believe, can possibly relate very closely to this energy over here. It doesn't have to be bad. This is happening for the whole world. You could say the Tower card relates to the whole world right now. The whole planet Earth is going through a massive cataclysmic implosion regarding global finances, okay? So if you are feeling your own version of the same thing, and it affects you in every aspect of your life, you know, career, money, jobs, health, relationships, locations, love, life, everything, it's understandable. And so instead of taking it personally as though somebody's out to get you, please understand that everything is exactly as it should be, and you accept the truth for the way it is, and you move forward in truth. In fact, anything that you do not understand about this reading, what I would suggest is that you follow up with me on another time and seek truth, seek deeper understanding, seek knowledge, seek wisdom, and be determined to live under a protocol of truth, universal laws that apply to everybody and everything, not just to some people and not others. It's really, really important that please don't think of things as being unfair. Like, it's really unfair that so-and-so got this, but I got screwed over. It's really unfair about this, or it's not really unfair about that. Please understand you're swimming in this amazing vortex, this massive ocean of love. And everything that's happening today, right now on planet Earth, is happening for a reason. We're living through astrologically, massively historical times. Life-changing for humanity on a scale never seen before in human history. It's happening right now. We're living through it right now. You, Laura, as much as anyone else. The way to go forward is to grab it, take it, seize it, look at it as a new opportunity. Grab the truth, grab the knowledge, grab the information, look for it, find it, study it, whatever you have to do so that you can thrive coming out of these cataclysmic events, so that you don't feel like a victim. You are going to thrive, and you will see that this is ultimately for your benefit. So I hope that makes sense to you, Laura, in some way, shape, or another, either on a broad sense of like renewed hope or inspiration in the face of maybe scary things. But if you feel like it's relating to something very private, unique, very personal, very intricate, that's okay too. You don't have to tell anybody on the channel or the screen here or anything. It's up to you. You can watch this reading again on the action replay if you want, because it'll be loaded onto the channel, by tonight. So that's what I would suggest. There are other people who would interpret this differently, but I'm just giving you the Tarot Illumination story, okay? So Laura, there's your reading. I hope that helps you. Hope you get something out of that. Here we go. Hello, Ellie Mae. Good evening. I've seen you here before. I'm pretty sure I've seen you here. All right, let's have a look. I could probably handle one more reading if anyone's interested. Just put some money in the SuperChat button box thingy, and we'll do it. Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up. That will be the end of the show. It's a holiday weekend. Laura Thomas, you are spot on. Thank you. Yay! We did it, Laura. We did it. Hello, Ellie Mae. I see you. So I'll just shuffle these up, give it a couple moments. So last call. If anybody needs one, this is the moment right now. Act very, very quickly, otherwise we're going to wrap up the show and leave it at that. Okay. $10. I see your notes, Ellie Mae. $10. You want one? Put $10 in the super chat. We'll hang out. Let's just chat around. Let's see what Ellie Mae wants to do. It takes a little while, so just be patient, everyone. I'm going to go hang out with all you guys. So anyway, this is last call. It's going to be a short night. It's holiday weekend. I guess people want to do stuff, but Ellie Mae just showed up. She's interested in getting a reading. I explained you put money in the super chat, $10 in the super chat. It'll come through here. It'll show up on the screen once the card is processed and everything. And then we'll do a reading. All right, I need some fluids. So I'm going to go for my ectoplasm. Wow, that was fast. Wow. Thank you, Ellie Mae. You're up. Wow, I really needed that. Super duper. Good night, Path. Take care. Okay. You're doing well, Karen. Your shop is 3 years old this Friday. Whoa. Oh, man, I can't wait to go back to New Zealand. I really, really want to go to New Zealand. I really want to go to Zealand. And I'll come and drive down and see you. Okay? I really want to do that. Okay? That's fantastic. Small business keeping going in these conditions. That's amazing. Well done, Karen. Good night, Laura. Thanks for hanging in. You were very, very brave. All right, Ellie Mae, you're up. Let's do this. Thanks, Ellie Mae. Let's see, where am I? Gotta do this. All right, here we go. Righty-o. Let's have a look. See away we go. Let me give you your card. My gosh, you can't do this without your own post-it note. That's just rude. Okay, so we're going to give a reading for Ellie Mae. You don't have to do anything, Ellie Mae. You don't have to write anything, any notes if you don't want to. If you want to put some last-minute notes, you're welcome, but otherwise I'll give you a blind reading. There's Ellie Mae. Oh, I spelt it wrong. No, I can't do that. There we go. That's how that works. All right, cards are shuffled up. I'm just going to do a little bit more to the last second so that you are a witness, Ellie Mae. These cards are being shuffled for you specifically. So gather yourself. Can you tell us more about yourself? Where are you, Ellie Mae? You know I like to do these map things. Ellie Mae, just curious what's in store for the next 6 months. Wow. Actually, it sounds like a very loose question, but I guarantee there's lots of people in the stock market and the banking world all over the planet who would love to have your question answered. What is in store for the next 6 months? Well, I'm going to give you an idea of the next 6 months for everybody, but how is that going to work for you? Over the next 6 months for the whole planet, we're going to be still dealing with a wall of retrogrades. Okay, there's a minute. Southern Ontario. Southern Ontario. So Ellie Mae is somewhere in here. Okay? This is the land of Ellie Mae. Somewhere in there. There you go. Isn't that where Shania Twain comes from? She's somewhere up here, and then she moved over to Nashville, Tennessee, so she could become a pop star. So, yeah, the things that are happening for the whole world right now, and that are going to be happening for the rest of this year, we're still going to be dealing with all this pressure up here from Capricorn. We've got Mars going retrograde for a couple of months. Uranus, I think, is going to be going direct soon. We still have a lot of retrogrades here. So there's what's happening. There's a lot of grinding going on. It's like this sort of pulverizing energy, which I think is very much to do with the Pluto energy, where it's like, especially for the United States is being crushed like its own tower moment, and as it goes through a rebirth. And when it comes towards November, especially November 3rd for election times for the United States, there's some radical shifts at that time. Mercury is going direct at that time after about 3 weeks retrograde, and Uranus is going to be sitting right on top of the midheaven for Donald Trump. So I guarantee it's going to be a very turbulent, kind of bizarre, crazy election period. And then right at the end of the year, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So for the rest of the world, when it comes to holiday time, like New Year's for 2021, by that time, Jupiter and Saturn are pretty much going to be heading into Aquarius, okay? So that's going to be a big shift for Earth. Pluto will still be in Capricorn, okay? So 2021 is going to feel quite different from 2020. A lot of it is because of Jupiter and Saturn shifting over into Aquarius. Ellie Mae put some notes. It says, I'm looking for my finances. I closed one business and started a new one. How will the new one do for me financially? Okay, let's have a look. Why not? What kind of messages we have here tonight for Ellie Mae from the Tarot Lumination channel regarding her new business? She closed a business, started a new one. Let's see what's happening. Closed your hair salon? Going to start something new. Okay. So Ellie, get yourself comfortable. Let's have a look here. All right, we're pretty well shuffled up. So get comfortable. Please invite your invisible friends to join you, and we'll make the most of this. It's only a very small spread that I use, but it's pretty much, I feel like, all we need. I think of it as my situational spread. It's like a diagnostic tool. Here we are. Let's have a look. What's the situation regarding that business thing? What are the challenges? How are we going to handle it? And especially regarding finances. What are we're sort of asking to look into a crystal ball here. So we'll get a bit of a futuristic approach. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm just going to read the cards, okay, Ellie, as they come out. See what the storyline is. And it's up to you how you deal with it, okay? Let's have a look. Okay, with the Five of Swords here. Now, to me, it feels in this situation where there's a little bit of friction going on. And I think it's more like internal friction, almost like you feel like you have to prove something to yourself. So, if it's like, in other words, to me it says you need to be careful, especially regarding the finances of the business and starting a new business from scratch. We're going through a huge wall of retrogrades right now, where everything might appear as though it's moving really, really slowly. And it could feel to you as a person as though it's very frustrating. Like, well, why can't I just do this? I've got everything all lined up. I can do that, and that. I want to do that, and that, and that. I just started everything. So what's going on here? In other words, if you feel like you start something and then it kind of backfires or kicks back, please understand that that would be a perfectly normal thing under these planetary alignments right now. And then if you take it personally and feel like I have to force the situation to prove to myself that I am right, having done the right thing, that can just simply make things worse. In other words, like it's sort of like the "I told you so" energy, and then it's almost like I'm having to prove something to myself and other people, and then the meaning and the purpose of the new business gets a bit sidetracked, and almost as though it's some kind of like agenda, having to prove something to yourself, rather than, let's say, doing something simple and pure for the love of it. Like if you're trying to prove something to somebody, if you're trying to prove to the world that you can do this, in some ways it's just like, what's the point? It's much more fun just to do something because you love it. We'll see how it goes. The Five of Swords, and to me, represents the energy of be careful that you don't get stuck or caught up in irreconcilable conflicts regarding your business, where like you're talking around issues and subject matters that are not really like relevant. Like if you get sucked into like if you get really sidetracked, if it's an online business and you feel like you keep getting sidetracked and it wants to go this way, but you feel it should go that way, so you get kind of forceful about it, so you want it to go so that you feel as though it's going in the right direction. So, I don't know, in some ways it might mean that you might... Okay, let me leave that for now. Let's go look at the situation itself. I don't want to get stuck on that one. I feel a bit of caution here. Excuse me. Sorry, Ellie Mae. Like, be careful. Like, for example, if you're already very heavily predetermined on a certain expectations of certain outcome and doesn't go quite that way, please don't take it personally and then feel that you have to force it to go a certain way. Like if something isn't working, move on and try from another angle here and there, and stay out of conflict. Let's have a look. What's the situation itself? Okay, Ten of Cups. So I don't know if it's an online business and you can run it from home. That would be very nice. This is a very strong card of home and family. It might indicate to me that what you're looking for is to build a stronger sense of home and family. I don't know, perhaps marriage and kids. I mean, that's an obvious way to look at this in some ways. But it's also like the joy of, some people, I mean, for example, you could say that I have an online business here, because I do. I do this through computers and it goes online. And so that's what it is. So it's like having a home business. So if you are starting an online home business, there's a potential that this could be really rewarding and satisfying for you. But you have to be very careful, especially if you're not used to running online home businesses. Okay? It's so easy to get distracted by, like once you get into it, like, oh, maybe I should spend money on advertising or marketing, or maybe I should try this thing or try that thing. With the Ten of Cups here, it looks to me as just like be aware of the energy of the home, the hearth, and do not let that be compromised simply because you might be trying to prove a point here. The energy of home and family in some way is very valuable to you. and don't want to mess that up. For example, if it's a situation where you have to put a lot of money in to run it from home and then it doesn't quite work out, be very, very careful. I would prioritize your home. Like, don't take out a home equity loan to start a home business unless you really, really know what you're doing. Okay? Things like that. Just be very, very careful where you get advice, where you get consulting, how you set things up, what kind of online services that you're using, so that it works in a very streamlined. Things online, they have to be very, very streamlined to be able to work properly. I've seen people get really, really stuck in the mud of online businesses because they insist that it has to be done this way, and then they just get grinding deeper and deeper and deeper. And it just becomes frustrating, and they keep trying to prove it to themselves, and it's not working. It drives them berserk. What's most important, this is much more important than having a successful online business. What's important is home and family. If you can find a home business and get it to work, that's great. What's the problems here? Okay, it looks to me that, like, you know how you said you closed your salon, you had a hair salon. This card is like, this is the world card, and it's very much a fated energy. It's the end of everything. It's kind of a beautiful. It's like the energy of the end of a movie that has a full ending to it. Everything, all the fates: earth, air, fire, and water. Like the astrology. Earth. Which one is with? That's fire, air, and water. They're all beautifully aligned. In other words, everything is exactly as it should be. And why is that so? Because it can't be any other way. In other words, your business, your hair salon business, is gone, and it's gone forever. And deep down, there might be a little bit of intrepidation inside of you, thinking like, what was I thinking? And there's no going back. Okay, so you have to keep going forward. So there's this a bit of fear attached with the end of one life and the beginning of a new life, perhaps in such a way that you don't feel you have a lot of control over it. In other words, let's say the business closed because you had to close it, and then you get stuck with this thing of what am I going to do? What am I going to do now? Because you don't have an option. You have to start something new. The beauty of the world card is that you're going to have to start something new, and you will start something new anyway. You're starting a whole new lifestyle package deal, basically. But it might be scary, especially if you've never done this before. Okay, let's have a look. How are you going to deal with that? Okay, so I've got the Four of Swords here. My feeling is that with all these walls of retrogrades right now, actually, let me get the ephemeris here. This thing here. I don't have my big one, but this is helpful. You see this? This is the ephemeris for September. You see all these gray lines here? We're just coming up to this section here. This represents Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, all retrograde right now. So, for example, even though you might be starting an online business right now, this is actually, the way I would look at it, this is the time for preparing an online business. And please don't expect anything to pick up really quickly, really fast with all these retrogrades right now, because sometimes with the retrogrades, it's much more about figuring out what doesn't work before you can get to figure out what does work. So, what I'm sensing is, with the Four of Swords, please do not rush this thing regarding trying to create a successful online business. No matter if you're desperate for finances, I don't see any Pentacles cards here, even though the reading is, basically about your new business and the finances. What I'm sensing here is, in order for this to work, there has to be a lot of internal homework on your life and yourself that has to be done before you can tune into the good side of having a successful online home business, okay? So, like, okay, something, I don't know if it froze for you guys over there, but if everything froze over here, I think we're still good. So, so with the Four of Swords here, my feeling is that please take things very gently. I would say heal thyself before you heal others. If you're selling things, if you're going to try and help people to like improve their lives, whatever you're doing, whatever you're selling, some kind of service or some kind of product or both, I think for this to work, it's really important, first of all, to work on the self and come to terms. To me, it feels like you might be rushing it, honestly. With this World card here, to me it feels like you haven't yet fully processed the ending of your previous financial world with the hair salon. And instead, it looks like you're already trying to jump in and start this new online business without having healed from the demise of the old business. Whether the previous business stopped because it had to, or because things were failing because of the China virus destroyed your opportunities or whatever, for whatever reason, let's say you wanted to start a new business or you have to start a new business or both, okay? And you want to do all sorts of things. Please don't rush into it just because you want to prove to yourself that you can just do this, pop, 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 just like that. So that you can just jump from one career to a new career. With all the retrogrades happening, even with all that massive, Earth Grand Trine support thing, it's still a very slow moving, heavy energy. So to get to the sense of like where things are comfortable and you're back into a state of equilibrium with home, family life, whatever that means for you, it makes, to me, I feel like I have to suggest, please give yourself time to heal and recover and reformat yourself out of, like you said, the bittersweet ending of your old career, business. Heal that stuff first. Don't try and force it. Don't try to prove to yourself and everyone else that everything's going to be okay right now just because you want it to be, just because it has to be. It's honestly much better with the way this reading is coming out is heal thyself. Heal thyself. Heal thyself. Love thyself. Allow yourself to perhaps mourn, to have some grieving, to perhaps look back at how and why the business closed, or why it had to close, or why you closed it because you wanted to close it, whatever way. Instead of doing it as an impulse thing or like an irrational thing, consider the spiritual meaning behind it all and then go forward. And then so to look, in other words, please don't look at the online business as quick, easy money. Sure, go ahead with start a new business, but you have to have the right reasons going into it. If it's just to prove to yourself that you can continue to make money from another business, that might be a self-defeating behavior, because if you haven't healed from the ending of one thing, it's difficult to start another thing if you're coming in sort of broken and, let's say, in a little bit of shock or unresolved issues of the closing of another business. So to me it looks like really seriously heal the self. If there's any leftover grudges or misunderstandings between yourself and other people, involved with the closing down of the previous business, that needs to be resolved, that needs to be healed, or time needs to pass for that to heal naturally. You might not ever be able to fix whatever was wrong, but wounds do need some time to heal. It is a time-based thing. There's no pentacles here to suggest that, but I'm just offering that. Healing needs to occur. Coming out of the old way of business, heading into the new business, the healing needs to occur before you rush into the new business, okay? Okay. So take your time, okay? Please don't expect anything really quickly. And be very kind to yourself. Prioritize the home, the family, the business. Sorry, the home and the family, yourself, your inner richness, your outer richness, that has to have priority over the new business. The new business, it looks like you're already underway and it's going to develop anyway, but you do not want to grow too fast in all sorts of directions that haven't been thought out, just to prove to yourself that you can do this. It's better to take your time very, very gently here. Be very, very gentle about all this, okay? So I hope that makes sense for you. So yeah, it looks like some healing has to occur here. There has to be some kind of, some kind of humbling, healing thing has to happen. You can't carry a lot of grudges or unresolved conflicts going forward. You have to resolve, you have to heal. You need to heal yourself, and if there are other people involved that need to be healing or unresolved thing, that needs to be healed as well, okay? Alright, so I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much, Ellie Mae. It's very kind of you. Thanks for having the courage to jump in here with the rest of us. I'm going to wrap it up. That's the end of the show, people. Thank you so much. We're going to do this again next Sunday. I'm going to shuffle up the cards here. I'm going to try and remember to do the promotion marketing thing. So please subscribe and like. Please click the bell to get your notifications once you're subscribed. You have to click the little bell where you subscribed. Otherwise, you're not going to get notifications. Also, it really helps. I had a lot of members a while ago, but then I stopped doing all the free monthly readings for all signs, and so I lost a lot of members on the membership thing at Patreon. But I still deserve members, and I still deserve support and the kindness and donations from viewers. The best way to do it is to become a member. Check the links below. Go to the Patreon Tarot Illumination membership thing. It's in every single video. Please help yourself. I'm still not really caught up with it. I'm trying to adapt it to the present day. So I've only just caught up recently with the members. Also, if you want to stay informed, there is a Tarot Illumination newsletter. Please go to that. There's another link where you can subscribe to the newsletter. It goes direct to your email box, so you don't have to worry about YouTube notifications or Patreon membership or anything like that. So the subscription, memberships, subscribing, pressing the bell for notifications, all that stuff is really important for keeping this channel healthy. I'm trying to do everything I can to keep it healthy until I figure out how to basically restructure, reformat, rebuild Tarot Illumination, because I got to do something, because it's so hard to run this channel as it is. It's almost impossible. Anyway. Oh, hi, it says it's Nikki. My phone died, but I see you, love. You have time. Yep, take your time, love. TL was 100% on point. You got this, Ellie. Okay. You see, Ellie, I told you, there are other readers here. Nikki, if you look at that post, Nikki... oh, okay, I'll send you the link. Okay, Nikki, I'll send you the link. I know what you're talking about. So let me just wrap this up. And there we go. Let's have a look. Let's go check in with you guys. Hello. Well, that was fun. Thank you all for being here. It was a lot of fun. I love doing these readings for you. I hope you look after yourself. It is a holiday weekend, so be extra careful. In America, it is a holiday weekend anyway. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Karen from over in New Zealand. Queen of Water from Australia. The new people, Ellie Mae and Laura. Where was Ellie Mae? I can't remember. Laura from over there in Kentucky. And everybody was here tonight. Thank you all so much. Thank you for your donations and your SuperChat money. It's very important. That money is very important to keep this channel going. So the more readings, the better, okay? Yes, Nikki, I will send you the link from the journal. I don't know how to attach it to this video right now. I don't have the time. But I'll just send you something directly, okay? Yeah, we'll post it on from there. Yeah. Southern Ontario. Okay, so we had a nice collection tonight. Let me have a look. I'm going to go back to that map again. I just want to check in. I love doing these little map things. So we had people from California, Gregory from New Mexico, Mississippi, and Path Traveler from over here in Kentucky, Ellie Mae from Ontario, Laura from Kentucky, Ivona, Alson, Nikki from up here around New York area. Abby was here earlier from over here. I can't remember. What am I missing? Oh, Tina from Texas. And then we had Queen of Water from over here in Australia. And then we had Karen from over here in New Zealand. It's been fun. Thank you so much. So, with any luck, we'll be here on Wednesday. That will be the, let's see, the 9th of September. So I'm going to do a Tarot Illumination rant, probably about, global finances and scary things like that. All the transformation that's coming from Pluto in Capricorn. And I'll just follow up on what I've been doing already. Okay? Abby, you're still here. Wow. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And Sarah's over there in Toronto. Why did I think you were in California? I don't know. Yeah, and Stargirl, California. That's right. I got it. I knew that. Actually, I have to admit something, people. I'm going to have a drink now. I'm going to have my electrolytes, but I'm actually going to have a little shot of whiskey. Shh. Just a little one, okay? Thank you, everybody, for being here. See you all again soon. And for anyone who's interested, I'm probably going to end up hosting a Friday night meeting, mostly for members. But now and again, it's fun to have someone else, some non-members coming in. But the members have kind of a support group thing that we do. It's very female dominant. Sometimes we have a couple of guys who show up, so it balances things out a bit. But most of the participants are very strong, spiritually evolved, loving women who are very interested in staying at that level. Okay? So it can be very rewarding. Okay, I can give you a song. I'll play you my Hey Oh song. It's a girly, girly, girly song. I wrote it. I had to pretend I was a girl to wear it. So if you want to, you can imagine Tarot Illumination singing this song in drag. But I hired this girl. Her name was Emma Cairo. She was a fantastic singer, but we kind of had a falling out at the last minute. It was going to turn into a record deal. It was going to be released all over Europe, but everything fell apart. It's very tragic. Really, really broke my heart. I was devastated. But it's kind of a girl power song, all right? So I want to leave that with you. Guys, it's okay if you want to dance along like they do, like in crazy Monty Python movies, and dress up in drag and come out and dance with the girls. It's one of those dance, it's got the dance beat. So you can do Russian Cossack dancing. You can do that kind of dun 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 dun. Oh! It's got that kind of beat, okay? You'll hear it in a little while, and I'm hoping you listen very carefully to the lyrics, because it's basically a self-empowerment, healing song, especially for the girls, all right? I'm going to fire up the song here. Let's see if it works. It's called Hey-O. The words are like, hey-o, I'm going to go out tonight. I'm gonna dance my stress away until the break of daylight. Hey yo, there's nothing I'd rather do. You may not want to dance with me, but I want to dance with you. It's that kind of feel. Okay? You'll hear it in a minute. Let me see if it works.
It was one of those days where everything goes wrong. My hair fell out, my heel broke off. I slept through my alarm. I missed the bus tonight, so my stomach